Hello and welcome back here to the PGL Americas Minor. We have seen one of our Group A teams already go through to the playoffs, that is Immortals, and now we have the lower bracket match to see who will be the first person to leave us from the Americas Minor. I'm James Duffield and I'm joined here by Moses and Sadikist on the desk, really mixing it up. How you doing?
We are mixing things up today, Matt.
We are. I should probably cover my elbow. It got a little cut there.
What'd you do?
I was in the pool for like 6.5 hours.
Were you doing stunts like
Tom
Cruise does in The Mummy?
Yeah, I just don't get paid for my stunts, and they usually don't end well. So,
as we can see, you were riding the unicorn.
I was riding a unicorn for 6.5 hours.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was like the never-ending story.
That was a dog.
That same thing.
Yeah.
So, NRG versus...
Where can you go from that one?
No, I can't really. What kind of unicorn was it? No, I'm not going to
Costco one. Costco one.
It was a Costco.
Yeah.
They sell unicorns there now?
Yeah. You'd be surprised. They're a good company, them.
They do a lot there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. NRG versus Complexity is, as I say, our lower bracket Group A match. We saw both of these teams lose earlier today. What are we expecting from this one? Are we expecting either of them to bounce back? One of them has to.
Yeah, one of them has to.
One of them's going
to be a bounce.
But
it can just kind of be a little tiny like dud. They just don't fall as far into the ground, you know.
I guess the focus is on which one do we expect to win, rather than because we know one's going to have to, and the answer is no idea. I mean,
tough call.
If NRG plays the way they did, I think on paper when you look at this, and just by reputation of at least, you know, NRG has some things that you can reference where you're like, yes, they qualified for EPL, they were top 6 in the regular season of Pro League. They have some of those kinds of accomplishments. Complexity doesn't have any of that. There's not really much in this Complexity roster that you can feel positive about, but then you go to the fact that earlier this evening, if we see that same NRG come out, like they're probably not going to be the ones that move on. They just didn't look that great. Now, that being said, even if they play that way, I'm not sure Complexity has the ability to capitalize on them over a BO3.
Do you want to know an interesting stat as well?
I really do.
NRG is now 0-14 on LAN in this lineup.
God bless it all.
Really?
They
Wow.
went, 0-5 at Dallas.
Matches or
when,
maps?
When DAP, I assume that would be maps.
Maps,
I'd have to
probably?
look into that. But yeah, when DAPS walked by me, no, it was Peter. I said, how are things? He said, 0-13 on LAN. I was like, okay, all right. So now we're 0-14. So I don't have much to believe in this. I know DAPS is a good leader, but again, lacks firepower in a lot of ways.
Well, these guys went to Copenhagen games as well, didn't they? This was the American team that went, and they got like 5th through 8th.
Yeah, they didn't do very well. That's Chad. He's a Beaver. He was also an onliner in some ways, you know?
Just beavering his way in. Yeah. You know, fun fact about Chad is this is one of the...
He's looking at me.
Isn't this one of the places where his team was 0-16? I think he put that tweet out earlier.
Oh, it might have been.
One of the sites of the spankings.
That was the esports arena, though. Yeah, that's so where the players are, not where we are.
Not where we are.
Yeah, I was thinking about where we are. I was like, I don't think Renegades ever played here. Yeah. They didn't have the divine honor, of being here.
So you mentioned DAPS being a leader.
Yeah, DAPS is a decent sort of structured leader, but I don't see the firepower involved in him. In fact, the player that I rely on the most, look, we know Peter's got peaks. I can't rely on him, but I know he's got skill available to him. I think Breezy is someone who can be somewhat reliable, but Fugly, CT side, is their best hope to have an anchor on this entire team.
Yeah, and he's the one leading the way in cash. And I mean, the way I always described DAPS, even when he was in Optic, even when they started that little bit of a rise, really before they took off, but it was he's not going to blow your socks off tactically. He's not going to reinvent the wheel. He's never going to like make this kind of crazy mid-round call that just you like see the genius in it the way other leaders can. But what he can do is provide structure, provide decision making, provide some kind of some kind of skeleton for a team that you can build on with the players you have. So I mean, at the very least, even that in and of itself is very valuable in the NA region. But like Matt just said, with guys like Peter, with guys like Fugly, like if you look at those two names as kind of like their stars of this team, so to speak, Peter very inconsistent, very high and also very low, and then Fugly known for his CT side. And on the T side, hasn't always figured it out. So he's kind of like a one-half guy in some regards. I mean, I'm not saying that he's like kind of useless on the T side. Still does some very good things. He still has the matches where he has monumental impact. But I just don't think there's enough tools on this to really be excited about the ceiling.
Yep. No, I agree with that. I agree. And just so much inconsistency involved in the whole roster that almost makes me lead toward complexity.
It's all about Breezy with this lineup, right? Moving forward into the future for NRG, they're going to beat as Breezy improves. Like that's kind of what they're relying on, is him to turn into like that next star, that like the next prodigal son kind of the region that can really be a force to reckon with. Because once you have one of those guys who can consistently put up some start performances like 25 kills, 20 kills pretty consistently, you can build around that, and that kind of lets you know what pieces you need to help out as well. They just don't have one of those focal points, those centerpieces of the team yet.
So now let's talk a little bit about complexity. We've talked about DAPS, but now Slemmy as an in-game leader of this team, do we feel like he can come out here and really lead them to
similar
a victory.
Similar issues, right? Neither of them are huge fraggers in that regard. And Slemmy definitely played better this morning than I've seen him in a lot of situations in terms of clutches, but he still didn't have much working with him in that regard. And no one stopped. And in fact, listen, I think the best player on the team this morning in terms of individual skill was Android, oddly enough, who's not a player I've normally ever said to stick out or stand out in any situation.
He's no Akis, Matthew.
He's no Akis. You know what? I think if they had Akis on this lineup, they'd win the whole minor,
As if
qualify
for
the major, and be the first team to never lose a map at a major on the way to the championship.
My cable just got stuck on the chair.
Oh.
This is a very awkward situation.
Yeah,
okay
it's
there?
underneath the back. You got to lean forward. There you go. Pull
Okay,
it
you're on
there you
camera.
go.
We could have just winged it. No
Back
one would
in
have
the room.
known.
Yeah, didn't
I was
even
willing to reach over and pull your cable to get you unstuck, but it's fine.
That's real
You can
friendship.
pull my
right there.
cable anytime.
That's what I thought. No, I mean, again, going to this lineup, the ingredients seem like they're there or should be there, but it just seems like they're never really getting it together at the right times.
It's just another team from the region where, yeah, they've got some skill. You'd like to see guys like Surreal and Def have like a good opportunity. But like the leadership portion, I'm not a huge fan of the leadership. I had this discussion with Chad earlier today with the whole Slemmy thing. It's just like it's not showing up. So there's really not a whole lot to be promised about with this lineup. They're still kind of trying to figure things out, and they're just one of those teams that seems to be like kind of left in the dust and not having the ability to make moves. They're not attractive for players to come to. They don't really want to go out and spend a lot, which is, I mean, fair play with some of these crazy buyouts that we have.
The problem with that is two things. And I'm going to reference both sides of it. The skill gap is increasing and decreasing, respectively. And the point of what I'm going to make is that a lot of teams like Complexity, or what Denial used to do, was look for a gem of a roster that would not require much investment and would produce. So if you look back at Denial, they had the iBuyPower lineup before they became iBuyPower. They had the Liquid lineup before they became Liquid. Those were times when CS was growing and you could find those rosters. Now the problem is if you're looking for a roster like that, your skill gap is increased for them, respectively, so you can't find low investment, and it's decreasing from the teams that they used to play against. So the Tier 2 are getting a lot closer to the Tier 1. We're further into the meta. So you kind of have to make investment. You can't just hope for a team to show up anymore.
Yeah, or you do like the smaller kind of concept where what Selfless did, right? Was where you find the players and you
farm them.
Put them off. Actually, I think Breezy even came from Selfless, didn't he? Yeah, I believe so.
I think he was with him at some point in time, yeah.
So, I mean, the issue is they have the players, they have some of the skill, they just haven't really shown anything to be that desirable at the moment. Not putting together as a squad doesn't help anything either. So, this is a team that's just kind of been stuck in purgatory, it feels like, for some time.
Yeah, cool. So at home, we've been asking you guys to send us questions. I believe it was on Reddit or something, Reddit or on social.
It was on Reddit, yeah, it was.
So we're going to have some of those come up on screen right now, and we'll walk through those while we wait for the players to be ready. Why does NA go through a constant cycle of being good and bad?
Jason wants this question, I can tell.
Yeah, I can go through this one. Well, I mean, let's start with the first issue with the question, where it's a cycle, because a cycle, to me, kind of implies that there is some kind of consistency, where like it's going to be bad, and then it's always going to come back to good at some point. That's just not true. I think most of it just stems down to, I've plumped on this a lot. I know you have as well. It's mostly just, to me, it's the fundamentals of the game. It is just like some of the ways you need to play and think as an individual aren't there on the lower tier teams, and there hasn't been improvement in that regard, like outside of the top 3 teams of the region. And when all these players, you see them on Twitter always say, so hard to beat all these teams. Like all these teams are so very good. And when you get into close games, those fundamentals are what lose you. Like they're the small margins. It's just opening that one window of opportunity. And if you're consistently not doing those perfectly or well, that's where you're going to get those 2 rounds that you could have won that could have turned the tides of the game. The one round that's critical when it's 13-13 and you lose it, that usually is coming down to some of the fundamentals that built up through all the game. And it's just a lot of focus on individual plays is a very popular theory, very accurate theory as well, where it's if someone has a good game, you're going to win. If they have a bad game, you're going to lose. And when your kind of winning conditions is, someone just going balls out, you just can't win that many times against the top teams, because the way that the best players in the world go nuts, you think guys like Coldzera, who's been consistent, is within a team structure. You think guys like Nico as well, some of the FaZe guys, all these star players that have teams built around them and structured in some kind of way, that's what allows people to be consistent. So even if you have the skills, there's no guarantee it's going to happen frequently. And that's where you need to have the kind of team idea that really makes the consistency come in.
I think that's true with SK is a prime example of that, because look at what happened with them. They got really good, really structured under Luminosity. They won their first major. Then they got a little confident, got a little loose. But the reason they could get away with being loose is because as soon as it wasn't working, they had something to fall back on. As soon as people countered that individual skill or wild play, which Fnatic used to go for, interestingly enough, with more success for a longer period of time. They could go back to the fundamentals, which is something they had to do with Phelps to really get back to where they are now. So having that is quite good, whereas, especially with Cloud9, they go through these honeymoon periods, and then it's, that's done.
Their call sign is always like, the summers, right? The
That's
summers
true.
are theirs. Well,
Yeah.
this summer hasn't really been theirs either. I mean, if you look at that.
We're in June. We still got a long way to go in this summer.
There's still time for the summer,
Yeah.
yes.
Interestingly enough, that would entail peaking just when the major is. There's something for you. Keep that one in mind.
Let's see if we have
Cue
another
the
question.
creepy music.
Coming in. Oh, we do. This is at Moses specifically. Who is the best NA team now, and why is it Optic?
It's not Optic.
Yeah, it's definitely not right now.
It's not Optic. Let's throw that one out the window.
That sounds like someone from the Green Wall. That is Speedy Blue Dude. It sounds like Speedy Green Dude, to be honest.
Exactly.
It's not Optic. It is. I'll probably catch a little bit of flack for this because I've stumped for them for a while. I think it's Liquid, but it's a very weird situation where I think Liquid is probably the best looking team from what we saw in Dallas at competing against European teams. But still within the region, it seems like Cloud9 is even deadlier still. I mean, is even against in the NA matchups, it just seems like Cloud9 still just reigns supreme. And I mean, obviously, I'm leaving out the SKs, the Immortals, just because yes, they're in the NA region. They're not an NA team whatsoever. But Optic, I still think the hard part about Optic is to get behind them. You have to have confidence that they're going to solve this fifth issue. That either Jason R is going to come out to be the in-game leader they were looking for, where he's going to improve enough in that regard to be a valuable fifth player on that team, or that after the major cycle is over, they're either going to bring a fifth player in who can fill that role. We know in-game leaders in the region are tough to find to begin with. There's old mate Warden. What's up, dude? But we know it's hard to find that anyway. So even if they don't go with Jason R, they have to bring in an in-game leader. And if they decide to have someone else try it out, which hasn't worked yet, they need to bring in another solid fifth player to begin with. So that fifth player question of theirs that's been up in the air since Stanislaw left right after the major, I think is a big issue.
You're fine. Don't worry about it. No one would have noticed. You just brought all the attention to it.
Look at my shoulder.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Would you concur with that, Matt?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into as much depth with the points, but I think that's probably true with Liquid, especially when you look at Optic has been struggling since they lost the man that went to Liquid, Stanislaw, which right now we know in-game leading as well is quite abysmal in North America. I think there's no strong enough personalities to really take the helm and regiment teams correctly and put the effort in. So I think that he might be the leader in that regard. And even he doesn't come off as a strong personality, but he comes off as a mind that's at least thinking in that regard. He's got the ability to at least understand what he wants to achieve in-game.
If any team wants a good in-game leader, what you have to do is just throw dollar bills at the Beaver.
Oh,
right at Chad. Sponge is looking for a paycheck.
It's true,
he wants to get back in the server.
We got Sponge, we got Dazed, obviously issues there, but all the in-game leaders with NRG to some extent.
Yeah,
4 outdoor on cash. Best strategy ever invented. Heck, we are even so good in the production side of things that admins are becoming coaches of teams now.
Yeah, Graham.
That's Messioso. Yeah, Messioso taking over Godsent.
Helping them out. Do we have another social? Did you want to touch on something else?
I just had a quick point. I think one of the other things that's when he touched on the leadership aspect, and it's not always also the big conversation isn't just in-game leading, just a leader presence is someone you have to respect as like a coach. Yeah. The one thing that Liquid has going for them in that regard as well is Zeus. Very respected guy, very respected individual, 2 majors under his belt. He knows what it takes. So that's a big benefit.
Chad's just shown me a note. He wants $20K to be a coach.
$20K per month? Jesus.
I would have given him that for a year.
For a year, that's Chad for a year.
Come on. Prove your resume first. Don't get 0-16 twice in your career.
The next question is thoughts on CLG's potential domestically and internationally. So that's interesting. We'll see a lot more of them tomorrow in Group B. That's interesting because it's one thing, right, to beat fellow NA teams. Map pool's very similar. They know how they play. But internationally, it's a very different story.
So I'm a bit surprised, actually, first and foremost, they go back to FNS. He was the one that they let go after a long period of time as a team that was unchanged. He seemed like he was the weakest link in that iteration. The Hayes, FNS, Cutler, Peter for a while, JDM obviously coming back in, and then why am I forgetting the 5th? But it doesn't matter. Point is, he looked like he was the one that had to go, and there was obvious issues there. Now that they brought him back, he's actually impressed me quite a bit. He's put his mind more into trying to fix the overall team rather than just his individual skill. He has some discipline. He's actually playing it like a player rather than an individual, and I think I'm impressed with the direction that team's going. I really did write them off. I thought they were done. I thought it was just going to be a slow demise. They were going to burn out. And now I think they've got something. I don't think they'll ever reach the potential to be world beaters, as Chad would say, or someone that can compete internationally at a super high level. But I think they'll have domestic results and maybe continue to qualify for some of the events through the NA spots.
Yeah, I think FNS coming back and improving this team isn't so much. Obviously he improved in some regard and found some new things in his departure from the team. But I think it was more perhaps us underestimating him when he was in CLG in terms of his leadership capabilities. Mostly because when he left, Cutler just dropped off the face of the earth. At one point, Cutler was like one of like the top players in the North American, especially when you consider the role he plays. Kind of the passive kind of player who does all the dirty work, who does some of like the roles that other people don't want to do, plays the spots no one else does. He was one of the most sought after in that regard. So him coming back has really got Cutler back going well, which is always great. And then when you look at guys like Kusta and Ricky, who have both really come into their own in the squad, the ceiling they have at the moment is so much higher than the previous team they had. So domestically, I think they can keep improving. I think this team is kind of reminds me, in this one regard, like how Optic was, how the key to unlocking Optic and making Optic a contender was Rush really finding his consistency, was becoming a star player. I think similarly on CLG, that player is Ethan. I think Ethan's a young player that has a lot of talent.
I haven't seen enough of him yet.
Yeah, you could tell he's got the skill. It's about putting it all together. It's once again, the buzzword's going to be consistency, finding like his role that he can be comfortable doing night in, night out. So domestically, I think they can obviously be a top 5 team in the region. I think they can compete with Optic in this current form that they have. I think soon enough, if they keep improving, they'll be able to compete with Cloud9 and Liquid to a certain degree. In terms of internationally, I don't think we'll see them winning any big international events at any time. I think maybe they're a team who would get have a good run and maybe get to like the quarters of an event, make it out of groups, kind of get into those BO3s, maybe upset a BO3 if they get a lucky draw. Do
you think they can build up to that though? If, as you said, do you think they could potentially have potential?
I haven't seen enough of Ethan, so I can't speak to
everything is possible.
I knew you were going to say it, and I was just about to do it because Kusta actually has kind of found the form that Jason used to be really excited about and tell everyone was amazing. Get teams to sign him onto a contract and then get wrecked completely. But no,
they call me the career builder.
Yeah, and wrecker almost.
Yeah,
but it did look quite good recently with Kusta, and if he can continue to play aggressive in that regard, he's going to be definitely something to watch. Ricky's another one that with transition rifle, AWP, whatnot, coming into his own. By the way, the fifth I couldn't mention before was Tarek, who obviously left to Optic. But
how did you forget Tarek?
Come on. Well, maybe that speaks for itself. Maybe that's a problem in itself.
I think that's something that people forget is when you look at Tarek's form in Optic that he's had in some of their runs at the end of last year and even the beginning of this year. It's just kind of like, why would CLG ever let him go? But Tarek was like nowhere near that when he was in CLG. Tarek was always kind of like the lost star who was like supposed to be this gift to the team that was going to be able to carry them this massive skill, which he obviously has. It just, at that iteration in CLG, something wasn't right. And I think towards the end, he got embroiled in some of like the organizational situations that kind of, when you have that on your mind as well as trying to compete on a professional level, very, very difficult. But also one of the big things that this team has now, and I think this was maybe something that FNS probably learned during his time away from CLG, when they had JDM on this roster, this team was all about JDM.
Yeah.
It was everything was JDM. It's how do we get JDM in the op? How do we set JDM to get kills? How do we get him in the initial fights to find opening kills for us? And now that they don't have that tool, they could do it with someone like Kusta or even Ricky, who's a very good operator as well. They could just have gone back to it, but they're not focusing it on just one player, which is good to see, because when you do that, your ceiling is only as high as that one individual player, right? We saw Navi struggle through that with Guardian for a while as well. So,
I'd say they're struggling the opposite way now.
Yeah, but right now it's a whole different animal, isn't it, over there?
Yeah.
Hate to see it. But yeah, the CLG team is definitely good, definitely promising. I think that was the key, because it did look for a time like CLG was just dead in the water. Like they had like nothing going for them. They were just like a team. You can't attract players to you in any way.
They had 3 players on the roster at one point in time. Like the only reason they attracted players is because they got Ethan, who had nowhere to go but up, and Kusta, who had nowhere to go but out. And they literally picked him up after he was gone from Liquid, and it's turned out to be quite good for them in that way.
Yeah, sneaky. They got. I don't know if I would call it like good management. I don't think you could say it was bad in any way, but they got very fortunate with some circumstances of events where like Kusta was essentially free at the time they got him. He was over in the JDM trade, which was more Liquid wanting JDM that badly. Ethan was just kind of an unknown prospect.
And Kusta really, it wasn't like he was in a negotiating power to say like, oh, I'm going to go elsewhere at that point. Like he was at the worst spot in his career. So
dark times.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to probably talk a lot more about this tomorrow as well, as CLG are in the Americas minor, but they are in Group B, which we'll be doing tomorrow. But right now is Group A. I believe the match is almost ready, I think.
Cool.
Unless another question comes up, and then... Oh, we're actually going to go to a break, and I guess we haven't got any more questions now. So, okay, so we'll probably come back very soon. We will definitely come back.
Actually, before we go, I have a question for you.
Okay, please.
How do you feel about being the frog?
I am not a frog. Say it again. Look into the camera.
I am not
Ribbit.
frog. But I am Sadikist Slapdog, apparently.
Oh, there you go.
Good lord.
Okay, cool.
Things are getting heated here.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. And they're going to keep getting heated. We're only on day one. It's fantastic. Guys, stick with us. We have a great couple of matches coming up. And yeah, we're going to go to a quick break while we sort out the server, the players, and everything so we can get this match underway. Be back very soon.
Catch off MSL, gets the kill, but then Magician will know he's there. Does he wait? Oh, this is huge! FNX! What a play! Both go down to the side, so undisciplined, and look at him go now.
Hello.
We're ready.
So it will be NRG versus Complexity, but slight caveat, we have done the pistol.
Yes, indeed. They went and pulled a fast one on us. That happens because we're on one part of the world, and they're all the way across, in America, playing in a LAN center, I believe. So just some miscommunication, I guess.
Well, it's fine. It keeps things exciting, It wasn't the most invigorating pistol run, I have to say. It was a clean sweep for NRG, 5 players surviving. So in a way, we didn't even want to cast that. We wanted to get straight into the action, The Force Spy, that's more interesting Counter-Strike, I think. Deagles, armor,
Yeah, and a lot of them 4 Deagles, only Surreal skipping that for the moment. So I'm excited. Hank, are you excited?
Super excited. It's going to be a hell of a game here. This is the first game where someone's going to go home. So you have to step up here. It'll be quite a short tournament if you go out after 2 games. But Complexity and NRG both didn't really step up today. NRG against Luminosity, and Complexity were against Immortals. They had a reasonable game. They really had like a slow start. But Slemmy, one of the players that actually impressed me the most, I think, on that entire server. He actually looked very good towards the latter stages. So that was interesting. We'll get into the second round, though, shall we? It's going to be a Deagles and body armor, no nades. Surreal, the AWPer, of course, is going to have Deagle, no armor. And in terms of the NRG buy, not too many rifles. Only Famous, I guess, and the M4, a couple of UMPs, and Peter, he's on the scouts. So, no grenades, Complexity. This is the kind of buy I don't really like at all for the T side, because trains one of those maps, right, you need the utility to actually get out of these key choke points.
Yes.
And what's Android thinking there? Like, just walking out, hoping you're going to get a headshot, like, just by running up by yourself? Or what's the play there, Anders? Where's he going with that?
I think when you're buying this many Deagles, you're just hoping that they're going to be silly enough to try and peek you in main or something. And when that doesn't happen, there is no plan B, I have to imagine. Like, you're just done at that point, Then the next step is walking in.
I'd rather take the eco and maybe get the Galils out in the third round with some smokes and stuff like that. I just don't see this going anywhere. Slemmy does manage to get a kill. They might get a plant out of this. So managing to get to a bomb site will be Slemmy planting the bomb at this stage. So the retake begins. Considering NRG have the man advantage, you assume this will be quite a quick process for them. But a chance for Complexity at least here after getting that entry frag. It's going to be a little man coming in, a player I'm not really all that aware of. Doing a decent job here, finds 2 kills. Just death now. Well, dead now, of course. And it's going to be a full defuser for NRG. So not the worst round for Complexity, all things considered. They do manage to get a bomb down, but trade on the inside bomb site. Most teams do favor towards the inner side because if you do get that single trade, that's what you're really aiming for. You're almost guaranteed to plant there as long as you can negate the grenades.
Yeah, I mean, that would put a bit of a smile on your face, I think. Just at least getting that out of it. And I'm not sure they should have. I mean, it seemed like the bomb site could have been protected better. And when you're playing in a round like this, I would want to have saved, a Molotov or an HE grenade or something to try and stop that plant from going down in the first place. But whatever it is, what it is, and now we're going to the third round here. That scout has been upgraded to an AWP on PTR. He was having a little bit of trouble earlier on Cash, but maybe Train is a map where he should be able to get some good shots in.
It's a very AWP-centric map, right? You get plenty of options. Two on Cash as well, to be fair, but this is more of a classic AWPers map. Peter this time going towards the upper platform. This is a very strong position, meaning he can almost hold a position by himself. It's going to be against an eco here. Finds the first kill, takes down Surreal. This is one of those rounds that doesn't really count for much. Just trying to deny the plant, keep 5 players alive. That was guaranteed death, wasn't it? Death was running into the crosshair of Little Man. Slemmy, the last player remaining here. The best you can really hope on these sort of rounds is a kill or 2. They get 1, and they'll be looking to the future here. This is where the first gun round comes in. Surreal, like we said. Went for that eco in the second round. He can buy the AWP. Doesn't decide to do it, though, so he's gone for the AK and utility buy, and now we really get into it. I guess this is sort of a bonus round. We've got a Famous and a UMP left over. Daps it in to see what he's got. He's got the M4, so this is the sort of round you want to maybe bring some aggression in on the CT side, push towards Ivy, maybe a lower ramp. Just try and get that first pick, considering you have that lesser weaponry.
Yeah, and this will be interesting. I mean, I'm happy that they've invested in that many Molotovs on the Complexity side. Now, I'm curious how they're going to use them. I mean, the traditional way, I guess, would be to try and just, clear the most obvious corners and everything, but I would love it if they would be a bit more, forthcoming and try and see if they could use them for the afterplant, That's good fun.
Like we said, Peter, he does get aggressive towards the Ivy area. He's got the AWP all the way at the end there. So that's great. He's trying to find that first kill. He knows the utility is a bit limited in terms of having the firepower and maybe not all the grenades required. So he wants to try and find this first pick. Doesn't get anything for it. Falls back, but he's got lots of information. Almost funneling towards the inner side there. It's going to be Breezy to find the first kill, but Surreal and Desi coming to life here.
That's not bad at all now. 3, actually 2 versus 4. Slammy coming out. Perfect timing there. Daps trying to hide behind the bomb train itself, but couldn't really make that work now. Breezy and Fugly. Breezy walking around behind the train towards main here and looking for an opening with that FAMAS. As soon as he fires it, they're going to know exactly where he is, and he gets 1 kill, and actually could have got a second one, but the player on top of that train had fallen back down. That's a big problem. Slemmy will take him off, and
the fuck is that
Fugly, what could he do here? 1 versus 3. No idea how he could get out. He really can't. Desi will take him down, and there we go.
Did you hear that in-game comms as well? Can we keep that on? I like that.
The
wild card kind of moments we're going to have here is going to be great. Breezy is asking, what the hell? I don't think he said that. Just happened just there. So they were holding towards outside. Like we said, limited firepower, had a couple of UMPs and a FAMAS there. It's a bit of a gamble. That's why Peter pushes towards Ivy, and Complexity push simple execution outside, finding the frags that are required. They finally should pick up the first gun round here. But this is the first real gun round, if you like. M4s, or rifles, I should say, on either side, and the AWP for Peter as well. Same story for Surreal. Let's see who steps up here. This is going to be an interesting AWP battle. I haven't had to cast Surreal too many times. I'm interested to see how he's developed as a player. Round number 5. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I like the aggression from PTR already. You know, the push down Ivy last round, now all the way up on the train, and that's going to help Lil Man actually get in here. A little bit of grenade damage taken on top, but I still favor. I like this from NRG. This is taking a lot of initiative, something that we didn't see on Cash at all. They were so passive.
That's right. Until the very last round on the CT side, didn't really do too much of that. Like, Train is a map that doesn't really lend itself to pushing that much of the CT. Maybe at the beginning of the round, sure, but Cash, you'd think of all the maps, that's the one where you're trying to find those first picks, and they didn't really do that at all. So it's nice to see them looking more comfortable here, at least.
The only problem is those two players are going to have a really long rotation towards B if that's where the action is. And you can tell by Fugly's position, because he's so far back, he's not going to know if it is a B push until it's very late. So a lot is riding on this main push, and maybe it could be working out. Look at this Android, going to be walking right around the corner. He gets the headshot on one, but he turns his back, and PTR is there for the kill on Desi as well. Picks up one on Def, and this couldn't be better at this point in time. 2 kills. And that's in Pop Dog as well. Slemmy trying to find the shot. It's taken a really long time, but he picks up the headshot on Daps regardless. And now 1 versus 2 here.
Sloppy Counter-Strike at its best. The CT's having no real reason to push him there, but they wanted to try and get the kill back as quickly as possible, just giving up some of their money. It's a bit up to Slemmy now. Like we said in that Cash game, he's been pulling out some decent clutches there. Didn't really have the time to work with, though, and Peter finds his 3rd frag of the round. So Peter, like he said, getting aggressive, trying to find his first few picks. They're getting towards the main entrance as well. Lovely crossfire there. Peter towards the Pop Dog. His 2 players in main entrance as well, setting him up really for the alley-oop, doing a great job to shut them down. The T's had no idea that could be a possibility. And as I said, NRG, I would say giving too much away at that point. They know Slemmy's there by himself. Let's let him have that 1 kill. That's absolutely fine. You do not have to find the instant refrag, and Daps gave it away. But still, they managed to win the round, but you can see it's limited them somewhat going forward to round number 6. Complexity will be force buying into this one. NRG, I guess, not the end of the world. They get 3 UMPs here. They're up against pistols, head armor, and a couple of AKs potentially. We'll see what happens.
Hank, have you noticed, you know the pictures in the middle where the players, when it swaps around, have you noticed how PTR is, it seems like he's sort of leaning like, you know, that draw me like one of your French girls posts?
Okay, yeah.
Just try and notice that for me, because there's something going on there. That picture is, you see?
It's quite erotic, isn't it?
Yeah, there's something, at least I would say, slightly flirting with the camera in this one.
we'll look at the other photos and see if we can find any other similarities there. Maybe it was quite a special photo shoot they did that day.
You see, the other ones are, you know, they're much more, shall we say, you know, professional and inline.
Yeah, sure.
Like, they're less personal.
Personal, that's a good word.
Yeah.
Well, here we go then. Round number 6 is going to be double AKs and upgraded pistols here for Complexity. Android without the armor. These normal rounds, you want to keep bringing the set pieces out, but Surreal and Def doing some work there. It was the inside aggression from the CT. Shut down now. Complexity don't have to fully commit. Sure, you have a couple of frags, but I'd say try and bleed the CTs out here. See what the reaction is. See if they drop their grenades. They're going to be pushing other key choke points on the map. This is a fantastic start. Complexity loving that. So NRG trying to surprise them. They just took a pause themselves, trying to see, okay, how can we get this first pick? It was inside area. They went towards it was Little Man and Breezy, but they got taken down there. Nice shot from the couple of AK-47s we had for Complexity. That's almost perfect for the T side here. So 5 on 3. And around where they force ball here, they managed to upgrade those pistols to UMPs. Now, that's why the CTs went for that inside push. The close-range weaponry with a lot of run-and-gun potential, right? So you're trying to get up there, find the first couple of frags, surprise the T's winning on the other side. Didn't really work out for them. Now they're on a huge deficit here. Let's see if it works out for Complexity. Going to be adjusting themselves towards Ivy and outside. And you can see a bit of a gamble towards inner from the CTs.
Hank, you win that fight early on. You get both those kills.
Sure.
Would there be like a temptation to just go to B?
Definitely.
You know, you got the 2 kills. You think,
absolutely,
right, cool.
But you just don't know whether it's the AWP as a connector, for example. You might as well take the time to work out what the CT reaction is. This is the safer bet. This is better Counter-Strike overall. Yeah, you'd probably be safe. You'd probably be fine. But if the AWP's there waiting for you and you haven't dropped enough utility, you get picked up one by one, the grenades start landing on your head. I think this is a much better approach. And they're actually playing quite decent Counter-Strike here.
Yeah.
Complexity managing to keep 5 players alive. This wasn't their force buy as well. And I think NRG probably just want to save at this stage. They took a massive gamble themselves, sending 3 players towards inside, just hoping they could funnel Complexity towards that area. I guess at that point they were hoping that Complexity had that point of view you just stated. Like, you think you got 2 kills inside, let's get to that area.
Yeah.
But unfortunately it didn't really work out for them. So we Peter saving his AWP. And I think we have a bit of hunting going on. We've got Desi making his way towards CT spawn. He's only got the Tech 9, so why not? Try and hunt him down, isolate the remaining CTs here, and he could cause some damage.
He's hot on their heels, but there's no one else there that can really help him out. So he's pretty much on this on his own, trying to do the damage, and it's going to be close actually. That really would have been a one-shot, but doesn't work out this time around. Now, here's the one thing that I'm usually a big fan of aggression on the CT side. I think it's so much fun to watch, and I think it's a pretty good way of playing the CT side anyway. But the issue is, I think, if you do it really early in a game like this, like early in the first half, you sort of teach the other team to be really careful, and that means probably they're going to be careful the rest of the half, you know.
Especially if you drop it after a pause.
Yeah.
Like, obviously there's some mind games there, but I think that's the most obvious time you're going to be presenting those kind of rounds. Are you changing your standard? Why are you taking a pause? You just won the previous round.
Yeah.
So, like, that, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, in my opinion, to take a pause straight away. It obviously suggests you're going to be changing things up. Complexity are ready for it. They're waiting for that inside push and got taken down. That's NRG, but they do have a buy available, obviously saving 3 weapons. No one really running away with the game just yet. 4-2. Complexity with the saved UMPs and AKs here. Looking like another standard round from them. 2 players towards Ivy, watching inside, and the main entrance bomb still down at T-spawn. So Peter, he's positioned at the backtracks for now.
And they're actually doing something you were pointing out earlier, except it's Fugly instead of PTR who's holding this position, but he's holding it alone. You know, look at the rotation towards the A side. 4 of them there. Looks like they are going to go for the aggressive flash, just trying to see if they can get Daps all the way to the bottom, and
yeah,
there's 2 people waiting for him.
I feel like if Fugly's allowed to get in that position in the upper platform by himself, there hasn't been enough presence on the inside bomb side from the tees at the start. You normally want to be, most European teams will be Molotov in that position at the very start, just to flush that out. If you allow a CD player to be there by himself, he can stay there and call for his teammates and have 4 outside. That's a bit of a problem, but this is where the tees will be heading up to Breezy now to get that first shot, and Surreal, he just answered back with Molotov frag.
Not bad at all. Daps goes down, Breezy next in line, and the spray comes through. Desi picks up a good kill there on PTR. That's the AWP out of the round now. Little Man and Fugly are left, and you can see Fugly is making his way back towards Pop Dog, so maybe he could get down in time here. Slemmy's waiting for it. He's not under too much pressure. Still got 20 seconds here, and they do have a smoke, so they could try and go for the plant, but actually a good crossfire could be set up here for NRG, and that headshot coming through. Android going down. Now there's a lot of trouble for Complexity. To go for it as well. Lil Man goes down, and Fugly with the kill, taking down Slemmy. So in the end, just not quick enough Complexity. What went wrong in that 2v3?
It seemed like the player we pointed out at the start, Fugly, we had 4 players from the CTs on the outside bomb side. It looked like the trades were looking favorable for Complexity. But then NRG, they've actually got that player coming for the flanks from Pop Dog. It seems like Complexity completely overlooked that area. It didn't seem that would be a possibility. And Fugly actually had 5 or 6 seconds with 2 players on his screen, not looking at him. Both at the bomb site, all the aggro been taken away from that area. He gets 2 kills in the back. Very comfortable. And as I said before, that's actually really key. I don't want to harp on about it too much. But the fact you can have 1 player patrolling inside of the upper ramp, it gives him so much information, so much to work with, and Complexity having a bit of tunnel vision there. I think they're calling strategies at the very start of the round, saying, look, this is what we're going to end up doing. Default is start, wait for any pushes. Then we're doing our set piece outside with the smokes and the flashbangs. We'll see if we can get the pick out there. And it's just got a couple of oversights, in my opinion. So NRG with a big round in return. That's actually going to be resetting the economy of Complexity. And it looks like they are going to be buying into this one. It won't be the best of buys, but Def and Surreal. AK-47s with smokes and flashbangs as well, a UMP and a Tech 9 coming out. These sort of rounds, you do want to be doing the set pieces. You want to just try to all the wall of smokes outside, flashbangs, Molotovs in the key positions, and maybe trying to get that bomb down and forcing a post-plant situation. A nice clutch for your star players to step up into.
8th round here. We'll see how this goes. Pretty default setup early on here for NRG, but can tell that the money is not exactly looking great.
They've actually Molotov the upper ramp this time. They've okay, well, maybe we should control this area now until the CT's having full vision. So they've got control of the brown halls, and once again, Fugly by himself and Inner. That's absolutely fine, though. He's just aiming for 1 kill. He's a CT player holding an anchor, is what we call this. We're going to be dropping his utility and trying to stop the T's crossing to the bomb site. We'll see whether they can do that right now.
Oh, they're being very aggressive. Moving up the sidewalk, in fact, he thought they were going to crush, you could tell, but now pushing even further. Fugly's actually playing this very well. He's buying a lot of time for his teammates to rotate in, and they are indeed even in the back. PTR actually gives up on that. Slemmy was waiting for him by Pop Dog. That could have been bad, but Desi wins the fight with a Tech 9, taking down Fugly. That's a huge kill. And now, can they actually retake this? 4 versus 5.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. Do you just call the save at this point? You've got full rifles. I think you give it a little bit of a go at this point. You can see, no, they've got Tech 9s, but they can't find the frags. Doing damage, sure, but Def needs position with the AK-47. Surely going to find the frag. It's going to be Android to finish off Breezy there, and I think the save has to come into this stage. So, like we said, Fugly, his objective there, he needs to find at least one frag on the final commitment from the T side. He does a little bit of damage there. He drops the Incendiary, the idea to slow them down, but let's ignore the Incendiary and actually push down towards Connector, which is the right thing to do. And we want to get those Tech 9s nice and close, stop the rotations from Connector, get them in CT spawn as well, and at that point, the CTs are struggling to even find frags. You're holding off the choke points, the tight corners, and they're running into your crosshair, and that's really disappointing from NRG. The fact that you've got 2 AKs and Tech 9s, and you're overwhelming the B bomb side like that shouldn't really be happening. The key anchor players on the B side, you think like, let's say Taz, for example. He's playing on the bomb side itself. He's dancing around and trying to find frags, delay them as long as possible, and call for the rotation for his teammates. If you're holding the very back, you do need to have the aim to pull off at least one frag as they're crossing over, especially with a very basic execution like that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you're Complexity in a round like that and you get onto the bomb side, you get to push all the way down to C connector with almost no opposition.
You're loving it.
Yeah, do you sort of put a note in your mind saying, well, maybe we should do that more? Because that B bomb side, I mean, the retake looked miserable, and the defense wasn't great either, so maybe you could do it again.
Especially if you're killing the players towards the inside bomb site, you know the money's going to be low in that area, and that's where they're going towards. Def spots one on the bomb site here. It's Fugly just to the UMP, desperately trying to get out of the situation. You might find one kill, not meant to be there. So you're absolutely right. You've taken that money away from the inner area, get the plant down, 5 players alive. We have 1 flank here. I think this is the big chance now for NRG. He's come up to Little Man, who's at the upper ramp.
It's not bad at all. Breezy's taking out 1 kill. Lil Man is here with the UMP. Picks up 1. Controlled spray. Almost takes down Desi. Down to 42 health. That could have been, but it wasn't. And now NRG, they've got to win this a 1-on-2. That's walking in, but no chance at all. Desi will take him down. And that's a big round again for Complexity. Tying it, well, almost tying it up. We're at 4-5 now, but that's, I mean, the economic loss here for NRG is just, it's overwhelming. They can't buy anything.
I think you had to put more of your stack towards the inner side. At least 2 players, especially just Fugly by himself, like you just pointed out. We know he's there by himself. We've killed those 2 players on the inside area. The 3 that saved actually play outers. So where are you going to go? The place where they have absolutely no money. You won't have grenades. Definitely won't have an AWP outside of the map. Get in there once again, and Def just very confident getting out the upper platform. Bird's eye view of the site at that point. You've got the range advantage of that AK. Take them down.
I just feel like, you know, if I'd called, you know, a crazy rush into a bomb site and it worked, I wouldn't necessarily want to call it again. Oh, that's a good headshot from PTR. But if I was doing a default, you know, and it worked, I would think, well, you know, that means their default isn't working. So if you know, if they can't even play the default B bomb side, I might as well keep it. There's no good reason to not just keep doing it again and again, unless they can fix it.
Well, for now, we did get that nice scout headshot from Peter, but Breezy, he wanted to try and find the AK-47 in main entrance. Slemmy was waiting for it, though, punished him for it, and once again, we have control of the inner bomb site. This is a real issue for them now. The fact that Android can get right down to connector with the CT's not really having any idea. Sure, they're only on pistols here, but it seems Complexity are very comfortable going towards this inner bomb site. Bomb down once again, 4-on-4. Almost no chance for the CT to do anything with this one. I think you saved that AK, you saved the scout, and the pistols can have a go. Well, having an attempt, it seems, and finding some work here.
Oh, they're being very aggressive at the moment. Lil Man actually finding a kill on Surreal. That's a straight headshot. Slemmy lining up too. Fugly and Lil Man going down, and Slemmy fighting to keep this bomb site, but PTR's there with the kill. And now it's all on Def. Mac 10 is not going to work. Daps will take him down, and I don't even know how, but somehow they get the retake in. NRG, they should never won this round, Henry. What's going on here?
Peter doing great work with the AK-47. Little Man as well. We said maybe to save that AK, take some money to the next round, but actually coming out on top there with that picked up AK-47 at the start of the round. It was Peter to open things up, funneled them almost towards that inner sight, and this was just great work. Slemmy there trying to recover the situation. It was a nice spray down, but it wasn't quite enough. Little Man, a player I'm not familiar with. Have you ever come across him before?
No, I've only seen you know, some of the recent stuff in some of the online games, and you know, try to sort of keep up a little bit. But no, apart from that, I don't know very much. But
interesting, I have to say. That was quite nice from him. 6-4 NRG. Not really running away with the game so far, but it's definitely been a war of attrition here in terms of the economy. No one managing to string many rounds together. We do have a full buy for either side this time. NRG with the AWP. Peter, of course, he's towards Ivy this time. Surreal. Similar approach at team main. So there's that Molotov we didn't see in the previous gun rounds. Desi using at the start there just to stop that CT presence. He might just try and juke out some CT players. You can see they've actually got 2 players on the CT side now. About to call you Matt Anders towards NS. That's going to be Daps and Fugly, right? So they're managing to hold that area. They know that's a problem, and they've addressed it at least. That's good to see. We could start to see that being a bit of an issue for them. So at least they've got 2 players on this area now, and they're not playing so far back. Fugly's actually actively challenging at the lower ramp.
Henry, you can call me whatever you want.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's
call me Matt.
No, I
call
think
me Big Bear.
Big Bear. I don't mind that at all.
All right.
Bear and the Wolf on the casting desk right now.
Yeah. There are furries out there getting excited.
Couple of predators.
Yeah.
Not sexual.
Well, I won't rule anything out. Dismiss that very quickly, I feel like.
Full inside execution here. Before we get fired, it's going to be 5 players in the inside area. They need to act quickly, obviously no presence anywhere else. Smokes down, flashes in, that's the Surreal to go on that lower ramp. I assume we'll see whether he can open things up. He's actually towards upper, but Daps and Fugly on the other side waiting for them.
Yeah, this floor position for Fugly is really good if you can just keep the high ground, but they've already lost it. Fugly picks up 1 kill, and he can't really do anything more than that. They need it to hold a high ground position, otherwise there's just too many angles. Android does fall down, but something is different for Complexity. They're really far back. What a headshot, though, taking down Lil Man. But they haven't been pushed up to the C connector, so at least NRG could potentially get into the bomb site. They are in a 2-on-4, though, so I'm not sure if they feel the need to try and go for the retake, but...
Yeah, Complexity very happy with that round. We said the inside area has been a massive issue. NRG actually addressing it, like we pointed out. 2 players towards that area, but once again, it's Fugly only getting 1 kill. Daps can't back him up, and it seems like the CTs will be conceding once again. They say the AWP, Breezy with the M401S, but Complexity, very basic execution. Didn't have that much, a couple of flashbangs and some smokes in there, and it's pushing down once again, finding the frags, and this is coming down to the duels right now, and Fugly looks like he's really struggling towards that inner area. Slemmy's loving it. He will be the in-game leader, of course, for Complexity, something they've been missing for a while. It's been the headline for most of these NA teams, not having the tactical prowess of some of the European sides. And they brought Slemmy in, obviously, Cloud9, 10 years before, and he was known to bring structure into Cloud9, but didn't necessarily have the firepower to really bring them up to the world-class level they're looking for right now. So we're seeing whether this team suits him more, I guess.
Well, so I would say Complexity have now proven almost beyond a reasonable doubt here that the B-bomb side is not going well for NRG. Yeah. So how long do you keep pushing it before you think, okay, now they're going to have to put a lot more people on B, so we swap it, you know?
They've got Peter on the inside area this time, so send more firepower that way, but Desi's having some fun there. Nice shot down Little Man. But Breezy, he goes 1 step further. 2 frags for him, recovers the situation, brings it into a 4-on-3 now. Peter will be challenged this point, just about gets out, and he'll be deploying the AWP at the back and having more of a turret role. He gets the information, and Complexity now back down towards Pop Dog. Surreal still the AWP.
And this is not going to be easy. They're a man down, and at least they have some grenades left. Those Molotovs could be very interesting if they could just get the bomb down. They're sneaking around waiting for it, so it's going to be a little while before they can actually go. But they've got more than a minute, so that's not really too bad. And the fact that PTR... Oh, actually, he's actually rotated all the way towards C connector, so he could be almost anywhere. That could be a bit of an issue for Complexity, I feel.
We'll see what happens for them. 50 seconds remaining now. They're looking for a pick at this point, hoping that a CT makes a mistake and they can take it down to the real spots 1, and that's what they're hoping for. Breezy dropped at this point, so plenty of time. Don't have to overcommit, but they are going towards the outer area. Molotov deployed towards the connector. That holds Peter out of the situation for a while. Bomb now making his way to the site. It's in the hands of Slemmy, of course. It drops Molotov to buy him a little bit more time, make sure CT can't sneak around, and now the clutch begins. A retake is on.
That's a really important Molotov. He could have easily got taken out then. 3-on-3, and Surreal holding all the way in the back. Has not seen anyone down there by Ivy, but any second if he sees that shoulder, that's going to be some good information. There's no flank coming in from Pop Dog either, and they're just waiting for the opening here. NRG, Fugly's going to be the first one to make the engagement. Takes down Slemmy, and actually just goes straight on the bomb. He's going to hold it down. He's not even waiting for it. This could be a full defuse right off the bat. No one peeking. That is pretty bold, but it does work out. You could tell Complexity were not expecting that.
Well, it's a really interesting move there from NRG to go for that full defuse and 2 players alive as well. You're normally just touching that bomb to force the peak try, because you know it's one of those difficult areas in the entirety of CSGO to retake as a CT side, especially when you're struggling against an equal situation. There's so many areas for the T's to set up, and I guess they were just relying on the fact that fake defuse would be coming in. Let's peak after 4 seconds or so, but then they got shut down with 1 kill and didn't have a chance to really recover. So it'd be 7-5, a big round for NRG, especially Breezy stepping up in the initial sectors there. And we go into another aggressive play here from Peter towards Ivy, but Surreal's waiting for him. Takes him down, 5-on-4. This point, don't need to commit. Just actually hold up. You've got 1 player on a pistol. He can take that weapon, presumably the AWP. That can be picked up by Desi. There's going to see whether the CT reactions will be coming in at any point. So this is a dream scenario for a terrorist side. It's a CT-sided map. You get that first pick. They've got aggressive, and here's the reaction. The CTs have to try and find a pick here to get the situation balanced out.
Yeah, this is very interesting, and it is almost textbook, you know. They know they have to do something, so I'm glad that we're catching it on camera as well, because it probably is what they should do, but then again, if this doesn't work out, or if the B hit comes in a little bit too early, it could backfire pretty heavily on them. Fugly He's far enough back again, just playing the anchor position, as you were saying, on this bomb site. So he's going to be able to make the call in the, maybe call in the rotation if needed. Still got 50 seconds on the clock here, and they haven't really found out yet. The grenade should be coming in soon here towards the B site. Already railing down towards the sidewalk, and you see the first smoke going in, and really fast smoke landing all the way back to C connector. Surreal wins that fight against Breezy, and I'm not sure what they could do at this point here. 35 seconds. They're going to rotate back out into the A-bomb site unless Daps can just go absolutely huge, and he's got no chance either. Android will take him down. He was the linchpin there.
Yeah, I'm actually liking this from Complexity. They're looking disciplined. They know the potential risks of the start rounds. You can see Surreal there, waiting for the CT aggression to come into the start. That was Peter once again trying to find that first pick. Shut down. They didn't overcommit. Wait for that CT reaction to come in. The Tech 9 comes into play at that stage as well. It's a very nice stuff there, especially from Surreal. I was enjoying that quite a lot. But Little Man, on the top of the pop dog, all right. Gets 2 kills of UMP and $1,200 in the bag. It's not too bad at all. So 3 players will survive as Complexity, but still, back and forth for the last 4 or 5 rounds. No one running away with this. Complexity not tying things up, but getting one step closer. 7-6 we're coming in the bomb, almost certainly going off at this stage. Little Man and Fugly will be saving towards the Brown Horse area. So there he goes, the explosion. Complexity wins the round, but an AK-47 has been saved by Little Man, and Fugly with the M4. I think they have enough just about to pause. I think they have to take a pause here just to work out what the play is. So they can balance things out with UMPs, FAMASs, but it won't be the best of buys. And this could be round number 14 as well. So a good chance to take a pause here. Here's the replay of the AWP interaction at the start.
I mean, I would say they're in a bit of a pickle, NRG at this point in time, because they've shown enough early aggression that it's not going to catch Complexity off anymore. I mean, most Complexity rounds start off with them being defensive and anticipating any kind of an aggression. But if you're not aggressive early on and to try and get the advantage, if they default to B, you can't handle that either. So, like, what's the way out here? How do you get out of this one?
I'm not really sure. Well, they need to work it out quite soon as we are coming to the closing of the first half. But, you know, it's going to be a pause and UMP's coming out. No AWPs this time. And the AWP hasn't exactly been lighting up the scoreboard for them. It's had some decent picks, but overall it seems like you said, Complexity ready for the aggression at the start and just shutting it down with these inside plays. So NRG now, final buy of this round is going to be 2 UMPs, an AK, 2 M4s, 1 kit, limited across the board in terms of utility. Daps just an HE grenade, which is gone already. So now Complexity in a very defensive hole. We've got 3 players pushing inside once again. The CT's loving this start of round aggression. They're still on the lower round. 3 players looking for the first pick. It eluded them the first time. Maybe they can step up here. But once again, Complexity waiting for it. Taking down is Desi this time, though.
That's a really good peek, but they keep pushing in. And PTR, he's going to go down. Little Man as well. Breezy. Surreal just walking on the ledge there and getting the kill with the AWP. And he's going to fall all the way back. So does not even get caught. They have the bomb as well. And now it's Daps and Fugly left. 2 versus 3 here. That looked like that engagement was going to favor them early on, but they kept pushing it.
They're relentless of these CT pushes, aren't they? I guess when you have such limited weaponry, you kind of have to go for it, but it seems so predictable at this stage. Yes, they get the opening frag, but Complexity in that very defensive passive hold, managing to find the first pick. Let's have a look at Slemmy, though. He's all the way in CT spawn. This is key. It looks like Daps might be aware. You can see him on the minimap looking towards that area right now. So we'll see whether he can step up here. It looks like he might have the drop on Slemmy. Oh, the timings. They've actually walked right past each other. Oh, that's devastating for Daps. He might get wrecked at this point. Slemmy's in the inside sight. Daps has missed it because he's checking CT spawn. You hate to see it, Anders.
What is going on? How could this be real? Daps.
The timing was like literally 1 second and they've walked past each other in terms of the connector play.
I mean, this is just cruel. If it wasn't already looking a bit rough for NRG in this first half, now they're going to... Like, Daps is going to be wondering when the bomb goes down in B. He's going to be thinking, what the hell?
Yeah, well, he goes back towards inner. Bomb will be planted, so he doesn't die at least. He's still alive in this 3-on-2. They have got the kit, he's got the AK-47, so Daps, we needed to step up here. The call comes in, the retake begins. But Slemmy, have a great headshot. Too much time to find a decent position there. Fugly probably just had to save here. They're only a first stage loss bonus, so only going to get $1,900 on top of this after this round. So save the AK. This could be a rough last round, and Complexity could actually win the T-Sado train after going down 3-0 after losing that pistol.
It's a really, really rough start here. But we do have to remind everybody, if you've been following us the whole day, this is the first best of 3 that we're seeing. So it's not all over for NRG if they can't make this work. And I don't want to call it early or anything, but I would say Complexity have actually been playing, pretty good Counter-Strike. I think I think early on they developed a really good sense for the strengths and weaknesses in the defense, and they used it the way that they should.
Yeah, I was actually been quite impressed. Complexity got a nice balance of aggressive strategies and decent shots coming in. Slemmy, like we pointed out, a player that's not been known to have amazing kind of individual skill, but he's been top fragging for Complexity 2 maps in a row now. And if they can win this one, that would be fantastic for him, as he's the in-game leader as well, if you're not familiar.
You know, to sort of answer my own question from earlier, you know, what do you do in this kind of situation? I think this is where you need some of those, you know, the sort of players that we call playmakers sometimes. Sure. If you're NRG, like, if the gimmicks aren't working and the defaults aren't working, you need someone to, like, punch your way out of that situation. And
they did try that sort of stuff of Peter pushing at the inner bomb site and then towards Ivy as well, but Complexity just one step ahead of them. Obviously, these teams probably know each other very well. This kind of serious CS, they get to play against each other almost every week, and I guess they know some of the nuances and tells that the NRG side have. But it's round number 15 now. The force spy comes in. 2 rifles, a scout, a UMP, and a CZ to work with here. Peter with no armor whatsoever, so this is a pretty rough round for him. Android makes his way on main entrance, waiting for a CT to walk into his crosshair. CTs don't really have much to work with. Fugly's pushed inside by himself, so at least they can have 4 players outside.
It's a lot of control to give up on the A side here for NRG, but they maybe don't really have a choice. They don't have the grenades to keep them back, in Slemmy will be traded fairly quickly. Breezy taking him down, and Daps is close here with the CSAT 75. That's an easy kill, and walking right into his face is Def, and he actually wins that fight. Breezy and Fugly take 2 kills in return, and now suddenly it's a 1-on-2 here. Def trying to stay alive. He's got the health for it, but the bomb is out there, so he's going to have to fight his way across the yard to try and pick it up. And Breezy, even though he's low on health, I mean, this is still going to be really tough for the British player to try and come out ahead in.
Yeah, in terms of the setup, it's looking positive here for NRG. Breezy, the low HP player, makes his way in connector, and Fugly patrolling towards the pop dog. So they want him to try and get the bomb here, and don't have any sort of interaction with him until he goes to the plant landers. You don't want to even see him or allow him to have a target before he touches that bomb. As soon as you do that, you get his position, you pincer him in, and that should be round over. Time ticking away. This is the best plan he could have hoped for. Does Breezy decide to actually push him? He doesn't, so... Oh, he didn't plant. Oh, no, that's a shocker.
Oh, and now it's done. They can just rush him down. So I wonder if that was intentional.
No, it definitely was not intentional. You don't wait 3.5 seconds on the plant and then get off it just before it goes down when you've got 5 seconds remaining. That's over. So that was a bit of a blunder from Def. Definitely had a chance of winning that one and threw it away. So NRG, against all odds, managed to win the half, and we're switching straight over. No pauses here. We're going to get right into the second here. So NRG on the T side now. And we'll see whether they can step up here in the pistol. Managed to win the first one, of course, and got the 3-0.
Well, that's upsetting, isn't it?
Yeah, you really hate to see that.
Just an unreasonable way to lose a round at the end. So 8-7, ladies and gentlemen. The second half coming up here. And if you're just joining us, I think welcome here. It's the PGL Americas minor. And it's NRG and Complexity. And whoever loses this whole best of 3 is going to be out of the minor. No more chances. So really rough game here for both teams. And it's fairly even still. A bit of a run in there. Daps, I'm not sure why he wouldn't keep going. I feel like, you know, you get that close with the Glock, just try and run him down.
Well, at least they still keep 5 players alive, I guess, in terms of the risk. It was there for him as well. Want to make sure he stays alive. He's the utility player as well. They're probably aiming for a set piece eventually. So he's got the 1 smoke, 2 flashbangs. He does go down to 28 HP. But here we go. Time ticking away now. We'll follow Daps and see where he decides to smoke. It looks like he's going towards the Ivy position. You're a smoke expert. Does that go towards Ivy? I think it does. Chad showed me this one once, yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely does. I think this is even the one that I put in the video originally.
Oh,
so.
There we go. Shout out.
Yeah, but because no one wanted to play Train for the first like 3 months, so I was the only one who even cared about it at that point in time. Or because I think it came out like around like DreamHack Tours or something like that's when. So everyone was so busy, no one had time to learn the map. So I just thought, okay, I'll give it a whack.
I'll
see what happens. Yeah, I'll see what happens. You know. Well, Breezy coming up with a big kill there. PTR as well. Finally, there's a refrag coming in. Surreal lands a headshot on one, but they're still losing players left and right, and Desi's the only one left. Breezy with a really good round there, picking up 2 kills, and Fugly as well with a double. So NRG going to win what has to be a really big round for them there.
Yeah, absolutely. In these sort of scenarios, like you said, the loser's going home, winning both pistols in the game, especially on a map like Train as well, to be very, very important, managing to have that simple smoke towards Ivy, pincering the outside bomb site, finding the frags, and looked like they ran away with it as well. Here's the replay from young Fugly. Quite accurate. I have to say, towards that Ivy position as well, the CT player didn't catch who it was. I think it's Android standing in the open looking towards outside. I don't think he realized how exposed he was. That was a bit of a blunder. But he makes up for it in round number 2. Not bad at all. The CZ at range takes down a little man with a headshot there, and they have the 5-on-4.
Yeah, I really feel like the drop in the use of the CSAT 75 is almost a bit unwarranted because it's still such an immensely powerful pistol.
Absolutely.
And people who are good at using it, they're absolute terrors. Look at this, Android landing another headshot on Breezy. So he's basically making the point for us here. Ooh. And that kill right through the smoke. Fugly, not even a chance. And the bomb, well, it does go down, but how are they going to fight their way out of this one? PTR alone, now 1 versus 3. He's picked up the 1 kill, and they don't have a kit at least, so he's going to have a bit of time, but already clotheslined by Slemmy. And that's going to be Complexity stealing the round back. NRG, what went wrong? How do you lose a round like that?
You get CZ to hell.
Yes.
Yeah, at the start of the round, that was Android doing a great job there, finding that long-range shot towards the main entrance. I'm sure we've got a replay of that. That's perfect. Thank you so much, production. Here we go. So, oh, that's not bad at all. 2 bullets straight to the dome of the terrorist player there, and that's actually not a bad shot at all. He's actually kind of sick, that guy. I watched him in the first map on my laptop especially, and his aim was really nice. So, nice to see him stepping up. Like a Canadian player, I believe. So, British, Americans, and Canadians. Not bad.
Yeah, we've got the whole former kingdom united.
Yeah, it's all there.
Under one roof. You know, we talked about this because I think the desk was ultimately useless, as it usually is. But we had a little discussion about, you know, what is the problem? Because one of the questions that someone asked on Reddit was, you know, why is American Counter-Strike so weird? And I had this theory that maybe it's actually a language issue. That, you know, if you're a Finnish player, you had better, you know, try and group together as the 5 best Finnish players and play, because there's very little chance you're going to find, like, you know, 2 Finnish players and 3 Norwegian players and have a really good team because of the language barrier.
Sure.
So you sort of have to really make it work with your, you know, your players. But in America, you've got so many American players you can just swap around.
It's a blessing and a curse, because it means they're going to be so incestuous at that point. They think they're going to have offers all the time, and players will be changing up. You've got such a massive pool of players in that respect. So yeah, it's great to have more players available to you, but I think for some teams, they'll be too tempted to replace players and they just have the easy way out. They say, oh, no, he's not playing very well now, let's just get rid of him. Anyway, that's probably a conversation we could talk about for about 2 hours. Desi pushes the inside area and manages to find Peter, and they have not force bought because they got the bomb down in the previous round. Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, Slemmy sees a couple of people, falls back to a safer position. I like seeing that. I want to see that. He does still get run down, which is just a bit of a shame, and Breezy actually doing his best to make this a very expensive round for Complexity. I don't expect he'll win it, although that headshot does make me question it a bit. He's out in the open, going for the long-range spray. He's out of bullets, and no way back either. Desi will finally take him down, but that did not need to be such an expensive round.
Yeah, it got there, but still, NRG will be able to buy up into this one. Like we said, the bomb down in the previous round. No bomb down then, but they still have about just over 4K per player, so 8Ks, and the utility can come in. No AWP, of course, but we do have a double AWP set up for Complexity. Def and Surreal, once again, this British combo. I knew Surreal was an AWPer coming in when he first went to America. I didn't know Def dabbled either, so that's going to be quite interesting to see how this partnership develops as the tournament goes on. And it's obviously one of the strongest double AWP maps we have. You can have the AWP towards inside, and obviously outside as well, watching towards Ivy or Pop Dog main. Very versatile weapon on this map, and we're going to see whether Desi, he doesn't have the AWP. Molotov out, like we discussed in the first half. It's a very obvious smoke just to stop that play being possible, and it means that CTs have to call for a rotation from Connector. That's coming as well. Surreal with the AWP watching up out while Desi patrols the lower ramp.
Just waiting here. NRG not really trying to go for anything quick, and doesn't seem like Complexity are into taking any risks either. They could maybe, I mean, they could get a lot of information if they try to push Ivy right now, but they're just waiting. They do have Desi and Surreal both on B, so I mean, bit of a normal situation here for Complexity.
A normal situation indeed. Well, for now, NRG still with their smokes available, but Surreal builds it up a ramp, as we said. Watching that position like a hawk, takes the first kill down, and it looks like maybe a final commitment. Actually, I would say maybe a fake at this stage as well. And no one's really going to be buying it. You haven't found a pick. They're not going to change this setup. They already had 2 players towards inside. We have Daps heading towards T-spawn. So is he the snake in the grass? He's suggesting the fake is happening, and his teammate's ready to strike that lower ramp. If he gets a pick, maybe he's looking for the reaction for the CT side as well. It looks like he has to make something happen here as he actually makes his way back to his teammates. I'm not really sure what his plan is right now.
I don't know, because the problem is there's only 25 seconds, so trying to sell something this late in the game is just going to be almost impossible. They did their best. They threw out a Molotov, so maybe that was going to do it, but crossing over. Lil Man actually makes his way onto the bomb side. I'm not sure how Surreal is missing that shot, because that should have been fairly easy, but he will pick it up and make up for it in the end. So 5 versus 3 retake here. This should be textbook work coming out of Complexity. They should not struggle doing this at all. Slemmy will get the kill on Fugly, and now it's just Daps and PTR left. I'm not sure they can even get to the bomb at this point in time. Daps just holding the back, and yeah, should just try and escape here. They are all over it, and the defuse is going to be coming in. So that's Complexity taking the round lead at 10-9. And I don't know, like, you know, the idea that I guess they just ran out of time and they didn't really think it through, but with 30 seconds left, throwing one Molotov into A, there's no way that's going to sell a fake, right?
It's dire. You might as well just group up and just choose an area, try and read the refrags in. You could see Daps is the in-game leader, right? I don't know that much about him. I haven't watched him, or I've heard he's a decent in-game leader, but that was a desperate attempt to have a fake, right? Like, who's going to be rotating with that? Here's a Molotov. Please rotate. Like, you've got the man advantage. You're not going to be taking dramatic rotations at that stage. You might as well just group up as a T side, not run the clock down like that, and try and get the refrags coming in. Surreal had a couple of bites of the cherry there with the AWP, some missed shots made up for it. And we do have, in terms of the buy for NRG this round, it's going to be Tech 9s, P250s, a few smokes. They're probably just trying to get the bomb down here. The Complexity looking quite strong. After losing the pistol, they've got 3 rounds in a row. NRG now actually on the back foot. It's 10-9 on the T side. So Complexity with a decent recovery here. Desi real. It's going to be a first pick for Desi. A player I actually kind of like, but Fugly finds the refrag with that CZ and manages to recover the rifle as well. So something to work with at least.
Yeah, absolutely a worthwhile trade. Forces Surreal to make the full rotation over to this side, but Complexity aren't really overcommitting to it. I kind of like seeing that. They still have the majority of the force on the A-bomb site, so they'll be able to withstand any kind of push coming through Ivy here. They should be in a good position. Be worried if they instantly went for the 2A, 2B setup. I'm not a big fan of that.
You're not a fan?
No, I think it's spreading yourself too thinly on a map like Train.
We'll see what they decide to do. Surreal for now. Holding inside. There's another little fake smoke, but he can see everything, so that's not really going to pull a rotation just yet. He can still lure a ramp. He's got confident. It's in a pretty out there position, but he's fine for now, just changing his attention between the two. Bombs towards Ivy for now, though, and no one really watching it. Def does turn around. Easy shot. Well done by him. Just wants to stay alive at this stage. He's got the advantage and can't find the second kill just yet.
Oh, they're getting very close, and eventually he's going to get run down. Another really expensive round coming out here for Complexity. See if they can get out. Now Lil Man picking up the kill on Slemmy. It's all falling apart. Android going down, and Surreal all alone here. 1 versus 2, only 10 seconds on the clock. Surreal, he picks up 1 kill, and he realizes there's almost no time, but he can't get out. And Fugly is going to find him and chase him down. NRG, they end up winning the round. What the hell is going on? Yeah. That's the sort of round you want to celebrate with a $1,000 of champagne. What do you think, Hank? Is that?
I think you just want to keep that round as quiet as possible. It's horrible. It just seemed like so many people like getting out of position, finding themselves in no man's land with AWPs. You know they're on an eco at this point. Like, sure, Def hit the first shot, but he could be playing the backtrack, right? They've got Tech 9s and P250s on like 1 rifle. You play the backtrack, you're staying alive, you're finding the shots, you're denying the plant. The time is running down. He's getting right by main entrance. He gets that first shot, taken by the Tech 9, gives an AWP away. If you do the backtrack, right, even if they get the AWP, they're so far removed where they can't really do much about it. I think that's a bit of a blunder from both sides. It wasn't exactly the prettiest round, but well done to Little Man picking up the AWP and finding some nice shots, I guess. And now the pressure applied firmly to Complexity. It's going to be a scout. Famous, they do have an AWP still in the hands of Surreal. That's it's round number 21 and a chance to break the economy on either side. Whoever loses this round is going to be an eco, almost certainly. $0 for Complexity, same story for NRG.
It was a good detail we just saw for Surreal. When he makes the jump up to the sort of the high ground there, he actually pre-scopes it, so he knows his crosshair is going to be exactly in position. He was sort of looking into the wall, and then he made the jump. So he's learned that over time, so that his crosshair isn't like sticking into the into the ceiling, and then someone's there waiting for him. So that's just a little detail, but I like seeing that. That means he's done some research to play that position.
I'm ticking away, Anders, and the inside commitment comes in once again. Dapso can't find that first shot, but definitely does that time. Nails 2 of them as Android comes out of the connector. Very good job. That should be the round over. It's up to Surreal now. Close range, AWP, can't do anything with it. It's going to be a clean sweep from NRG, it seems, as Slemmy, the last remaining player, he has to save. He's in the connector with the Famous, and that's looking very promising for Daps, I have to say. Not known to be a huge fragger, but some pinpoint accuracy there with the AK-47, blowing Complexity out of the water.
Yeah, that kind of round. I mean, if they can just have a couple more like that, where Daps just runs in. It was so clean, wasn't it? Picks up all of the frags, and he's just tapping away at the end there, too. So 11-10. And this is just huge, isn't it?
Yeah. And the round was pretty good as well. It's going to be the AK headshots coming in.
What happens to allow him to run this far up onto the sort of the catwalk up here? Like, how is he allowed to get this far in without anyone
well, the thing is,
firing back at him?
We've seen Complexity with Surreal holding that area by himself. He's trying to look at lower ramp and the upper area itself. If for one moment he allows one player to come out towards upper, it is a very strong position. Players like RPK use that position all the time. He's running out, using the AK-47 to bully solo CT players in that position. If you do find that initial headshot, you know they're going to be rotating from a CT spawner connector. Daps, you're hitting the shots. It's going to be great. You can just run away with the round single-handedly. So NRG now, like we said in the previous round, whoever won that one will be down to a full eco, and that's definitely ringing true for Complexity here. Not a single dollar invested into this round. Not good the first frag, but Desi is fighting back, and I shot from him with the USP.
Great shot from Fugly, but got taken down right away now. They should hear those pistols and think, wait a minute, if that's the case, then why don't we all just sort of group up and make sure we don't give away any rifles or anything? I think that's what they're doing. They're out onto the B side as well, so they've realized that there's no one occupying that position. And this should be a fairly easy time just cleaning out the round, hopefully not losing too many rifles in the process, and making sure you keep the economy rolling. When the game is this close, you know, 11-10, you always think there's a chance that the losing team could be losing just because they're not going to have the money at the end. You know, you get down to that 14-14 situation, and then you just don't have any more economy. It's not going to be easy, but they've managed to take a little bit. Desi actually holding them back. That grenade coming in as well. Now they're running through. Android picking up one. What? Another headshot coming through, and now Lil Man 1 versus 2. They don't have a kit, so going to take forever to defuse this bomb, and I think Lil Man may have secured the round here, but still they lose all 5 players, and Complexity, they get to save at least 1 AK there. I think Desi went up with the bomb, but still, what an absurd round.
You go into the round with nothing invested whatsoever, not a single dollar, right? Everyone with the default pistols, you had 4 USPs and a P2000, and somehow you kill absolutely everyone after you find a couple of kills at the start, find an AK-47. They can't win the round because you said the bomb was down and Molotov was chucked on top of it, but that's not bad at all from Android. We said he was a skillful player, living up to expectations here, and he gets all 3 to finish things off. So, yeah, they don't win the round, but they save an AK. He gets $900 for those kills at the end there, but so at least they recover the economic situation. It is 12-10 for NRG, and they lost all 5 players in the previous round, but they had like 6-7K on each player, so it's not a problem. A tactical timeout now, as obviously on the line here, you want to make sure you're making the correct decisions going forward.
Hank, we were taking a walk down memory lane earlier about you know, the early days of Train and all of that. If you were watching Counter-Strike, you know, 6 months ago on Train, and now you came in watching here, you'd probably be asking yourself, where's that A wall of smoke that everyone was using for the longest time? We've not seen it. Where has it gone? Why is it gone?
I'm not really sure. I think the pace has changed on Train somewhat. Like, I think obviously those tactics are very obvious, and you've got to use them for a fake as well. You're expending a lot of utility. Like, they're more useful, in my opinion, for the post-plant situations. Obviously, a lot of teams now opting for defaults and trying to work towards Ivy, gain some map control, get that first pick. Then you can go into those sort of executions. But you're right, we have seen a decline in terms of that kind of set piece that was so prevalent in the Train meta for so long. It seems more of a brawl these days. Teams are happy to rush a lot more, just go in with contact plays and try and bully the economy more as well. So we'll see whether that comes back in. I haven't really seen that at all on this Train map, at least. We'll see whether it will make an appearance. We have seen a few inside executions. But it's round number 23 now, and Surreal back on the AWP, and Slevy quickly put to bed by Peter. That's a nice shot from him to open things up. Plenty of time to work with it. He was having a rough time in the first half, stepping up in round number 23,
Yeah, I want to believe that Peter was just, you know, he was calculating the frequency of the peak and putting it into his mind and sort of, you know, doing the whole prediction and figuring out, you know, okay, well, now's the time. Down to milliseconds. It looked looked very well. And Daps again, just the same styles. Tragically for him, he's down to 10 health, but he's really on point with that AK-47. Fugly, all right. Could have got crispy then.
Yeah, Daps is looking crispy himself, but in a different manner, I guess. Nice aim. And it's going to be a 5-on-3 now. Surreal with the AWP. Holding towards outside. We'll see where he can step up here. And taken down by Breezy. This is another rough round for the Complexity side. Just Def remaining. He is a talented player, but I think this is a little bit of a stretch too far. He'll be falling back towards CT Spawn. He's got no kit, 1 flashbang, and the M4A4. Looking to save that weapon. They have got 4 state loss bonus after this round, meaning they get $2,900 under. So in terms of what they get next round, it's not great. He needs to save this M4 to have a chance of a buy. If they don't have to go for the partial, I'm afraid. They'll take P250s and some Deagles potentially, and let's look for 25. Not 100 down, it's definitely worth it.
66 health, but they're coming in from either angle. This is Not the best place to stay alive at all, and ends up going down. Lil Man with the kill, and that's another round for NRG here. So 13 to 10, and all right, the economy here for the Complexity side just not looking good at all. We'll see. I mean, they've managed to do a lot of damage earlier with just C-Sets, and actually they've got three of them.
Yeah, well, the thing is as well, they're killing all 5 players with default pistols. Imagine what they can do with CZs, P250s, armor, and grenades. Can you imagine that? It's going to be pretty explosive, I think.
I mean, I'm kind of excited. There was a while when everyone was really tired of seeing the C-Set 75. Well, it was so good, but
stupid period when it could be drawn so quickly. It was just completely overpowered. But Breezy, he's putting an end to it. Desi gets taken down very quickly indeed. 5-4, like we've always said, a dream scenario on the C-Side of trying to get that first pick. You've ascertained they've got pistols, but it might fall apart here. Def finds the first headshot, but Little Man, he recovers the situation, brings it to a 4-on-2. Breezy chiming in for the second frag as well. Just to be 4 on Slemmy now, and he gets taken care of pretty quickly there. So, money available for Complexity once again. Maximum loss bonus coming in. Not really having the same success with the pistols they did before. Is this another pause? Sounds like it is.
So just, I mean, because you pointed out we don't know much about Lil Man and a bunch of the other players too, really, on this. Maybe Breezy mostly. But you saw that little detail there. He gets both the kills. And then instead of reloading his AK, he actually just drops it and picks up the the AK from his fallen teammate.
Yeah.
Those are sort of some of the tiny details. I mean, it's not that it's like a very hard thing to do, but a lot of players forget about simple stuff, especially if they're under pressure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I kind of like seeing stuff like that. Like if I had to make an assessment about how good is a player or what's their potential, those little details are the stuff that I look for. Generally speaking. So it's kind of encouraging. Now we've got the double AWP set up again for Def and Surreal.
It worked quite nicely at the start of the game. So let's just remember, they lost the pistol here, won the second round force fight, they got the double AWP, so I got a couple of rounds in a row. But as soon as NRG got back on the board, they've actually won 5 rounds in a row now. And Complexity have had a real rough time getting back into this one. Double AWP setup could be the solution, but no kits once again. They need to deny that bomb going down. Peter looking for the first pick towards Ivy, trying to dish out a taste of their own medicine on the Complexity side. Seems to go aggressive towards Ivy. Not going to be happening just yet. With Slemmy, he took down before, but I think there should be an AWP at this side. Yeah, Def is ready on the other side. Flashbang comes in. Flash works, and Def has to give away his position, fires a shot, but he still survives.
Gonna have to concede that one, so didn't really take a lot to push them back from that one. What is the eventual play gonna be? Lil Man's got the bomb by the
look inside.
Container. Oh, you're right.
Here we go. Getting spicy in that area. Contact play. One smoke down, try and find the first pick. That's a Daps. We know he's good with the AK. Can't find the headshot, but he does get a kill. But a trade coming in from Surreal there. The backtracks brings it to the 4-on-4, but they don't have much information as to where the bomb is right now.
No, it's still a bit weird right now. If you're Complexity especially, what kind of read are you getting out of this?
Not much, because you still have that smoke down. Surreal's like, he's confident he can hold it by himself. He doesn't know if someone snuck past. Are they waiting behind a train? It will be a final inside play by the looks of things. 40 seconds remaining. We have got Breezy waiting at T-spawn. Seeing, I guess, if any rotating CT players walking through his crosshair. In terms of the final play, though, NRG have waited a long time. This will be quite predictable. We can see another CT player rotating into both AWPs on the inside area. And if the smokes come in, they have a chance. I don't think there's any smokes available for NRG. So Peter going for the challenge on lower ramp. I think he's done for.
Yeah, Raw jumps right into it. What a flick coming out. Def taking down Lil Man. That was very close. And now Breezy's position. He's even going to get shot in the back, but even if not, I don't think it would have been worth very much. Fugly going to get the bomb plant down in the last 9 seconds of the round, but he is completely surrounded with an AK in hand. That Molotov, though, maybe going to net him a kill. That's actually pretty good timing. Still 3 more left, and they are all over it. So just a question of time now with 10 health left. It's just not going to happen. Ooh, that will be an 11th round for Complexity.
That actually got a bit dicey. Like we said, going into that round, there wasn't a single kit available. If he gets 1 kill there and survives another like 5-6 seconds, that could have been a bit dicey. But overall, Def saves the round there. We said NRG making their way towards inside was an interesting decision, considering they had no smokes available to them whatsoever. Yeah. Flashbang comes in, and Def, like I said, Peter, he's got so many angles to check. He's obviously got to look towards connector and the lower ramp itself. He went for the pre-fire, but Def, he gets the better of him and takes down 2 shots. Pretty much secures the round. Well, first play.
Can I point out this round where Breezy he's in main and the rest of the team is in B? That's almost a mirror of the other round that we had where it was Daps who was playing in main. And what I really like, actually, I prefer the one where Breezy is trying to sort of flank the defuse when it's out. That's really good. But obviously, it does They have to take the bomb site, obviously.
It looks exactly the same in the build-up to the round, but he's got the exact opposite idea. He's trying to stop the rotations, coming with that backstab towards Connect. He's not trying to sell anything. So I don't mind that at all. It's only just trying to sell a fake with just one Molotov out and, hey, I'm over here, and then you run away. Like I think that's so obvious. So I prefer that approach. It's something that's been prevalent in CS for many, many years and didn't really get a chance to get going after his teammates went down. It's not that the CTs are really going to rotate into those sort of positions you're looking to take them down into. But here we go, then round number 26, coming to the closing stages of map 1 of this best of 3. Let's remind you, the loser does go home out of the minor. But for now, NRG with the lead. But complexity of a decent round, looking to avoid the reset and indeed map point.
Look at Slemmy. He is up to something here. He's pushed all the way down, but Breezy's actually holding in the corner. This could be a bit risky. He runs right into him. Slemmy's going to be smiling after that one.
Yeah, I'm not. I have to say.
You're not enjoying that?
No, why are you running around the corner of Nader? That's like CS 101. Like, you haven't even ascertained if it's clear in terms of the aggressive all play there, but gives a free kill away. And it's a 5-on-4, just like that. Still within a shout of the round. NRG, we said they can win this, pretty much guarantees the game. It's a harsh reset for the CTs. They have given that first pick up, though. Smokes towards in front of the bomb frame from the public area, but Android, he's ready for a nice spray with the AK-47. Takes down Fugly. Oh, my goodness, that's another lovely shot from him. And that's going to be guaranteeing the round at this stage. Peter, let's fire one back to the turn, but Android lighting up the scoreboard, left, right, and center. Peter trying to stay alive now with the AWP.
Oh, and that smoke they put down towards the side there, that was a really dangerous smoke. There was a huge gap towards the wall. Yeah. You could see as soon as it went down that Android, you could see he looked at it and he thought, wait a minute, I can sneak through here. And he could, and I mean, that almost works against them. You know, it's just meant to block off anyone playing on the A-bomb side, but it actually becomes a really dangerous smoke, I think, for them. Now, obviously, time runs out, so Complexity going to win the round, but yeah, this stuff from Android, especially the second kill, is just out of this world.
Yeah, very good stuff. I'm impressed by his individual mechanical skill. I think he's looking very good in that respect. So
this kind of smoke, look at it. I mean,
hello,
not good.
We'll see what happens. I think that was just one of those like spur of the moment smokes. Like you lost that first pick and you're kind of panicking, time ticking away. Let's just right click smoke out of Pop Dog and see if we can get out. There was no method behind the madness there. I don't think it was just let's just try and hope for the best.
I've noticed in life, Henry, that rarely works.
Yeah, that's very true. I can confirm I am an adopter of that technique, and you know a lot of bad things about me.
Just, as we would continue to hope anyway, Henry. We'll keep it up for a couple more years and see where it goes.
Yeah, if I'm still here, I'll be very happy.
3 AWPs in play, Def and Surreal. They were kind of adamant that they wanted to go for this, and leading with the bomb, and it goes down straight away. Desi with 2 great headshots. It's always dangerous because you give the play away right then and there. There's no faking it any longer. Sure. They have to commit to it now. Grenade going really high. In fact, So I doesn't even flash Surreal, but he still doesn't really get the flick in. I'm not sure why. 3-on-4 for the retake here, and they're all coming in from the same side. No flank or anything. And I think Daps has realized so he's going to be showing up, and now it's time for some of the AK magic that he was showing us earlier. He's going to have to go really big in this round. He's the only one with any health left, and PTR, I'm not sure what he can do. Bomb not really being defused yet. Complexity getting a bit closer now, tapping it once and trying to force Daps into it. He doesn't actually go down right away, and PTR, is he going to get the chance? The smoke is helping him out. He gets one frag. Daps has gone down, and now right next to him on the ladder, ready and waiting, it's Slemmy, and he jumps right into his face. No chance at all, and they will have the defuse here. Ooh. Complexity, they're making this one hell of an exciting game at the end.
They really are. Well, it looked like a really clean round there. Desi, that's the exact opposite approach you saw from Fugly in the first half. Playing the same position, that solo anchor towards the B side, but he's playing in front of the smokes and the flashbangs and challenging at the very start. Obviously, it's a bit riskier, but if you land those first 2 kills, you're buying time for your teammates in the rotations. You're obviously taking the manpower down on the T side as well. He's a very good aimer. We've come to know that from Desi, but wasn't quite enough. It was a bit of a scary round all the same. Peter at the upper ramp with no nades at all, the T side, still managing to 5 kills. There's the replay from Desi, finally taken down by Fugly. But it will be a round for Complexity. Bomb planted, third save loss bonus as well. So going to have $2,400 with that 800 as well. It doesn't look like it's enough to buy. So I'll take a pause here. And they probably have to allow Complexity to tie things up, I have to say. I think they're taking maybe a partial buy here, P250, some armor, maybe a couple of Tech 9s. See 1 smoke for Daps. I think that has to be the approach here. Head armor for Little Man. Takes himself down to just under 2K. That's okay. I'd prefer him just to maybe spend a little less. Fugly, what's he gone for? He's got for the UMP. He had a bit more residual cash in his teammates. So 3 smokes, 1 flashbang. These rounds are always possible. Like we saw the default pistols on the CT side find 5 kills. There's every chance he's get that first Tech 9 kill, snowball effect, look of a rifle, and he can run away with the round. Very fast play from the C side here.
Android, pretty good Molotov to just try and see if they can maybe keep them back a little bit. They're running right into the crossfire here, and Surreal and Slemmy doing a pretty good job picking it all up. They only lose one. It's Android going down at the end. That ties it up at 14-14 and going into the 29th round.
Sure.
This is going the full distance. I mean, this again, they're fighting to stay in the tournament here. It's a best of 3 and it's only the first map, but I think they can feel the pressure.
I think that's I thought going into this one, this would be a 3-map affair with very close maps. Like Complexity, I've always been a team with like good individual players, the teams you could see a lot of potential in, but they never really had the structure. And Slemmy, like we discussed earlier, was one of the Cloud9 to give them some foundations, and he certainly did that, and didn't really have necessarily the individual skill to carry on in a team like this. But I think, and this sort of lineup, it makes a lot of sense. Like they could cause upsets, and against a team like NRG, I think it's a very equal affair, and that's evident right now with this sort of scoreline. It's going to be 14-14, double orb set up for Complexity right now. In terms of the overall buys, they've got the advantage in that respect. Peter with the AWP, but no utility to work with, and he's gone down to 36 points of health to kick things off. But Def for the first pick actually takes him down eventually.
Peter was already up there. I wonder if we saw that from his point of view. Was he looking somewhere else? I'm not sure if he was looking on top of a train or something, because he had certainly a couple of milliseconds there where he could have got the refrag or at least got the shot in early. So that's a big misstep. Now Desi on the bomb side, but he's got backup in Surreal as well. Going to be walking right in, and that's not even signaled at all. That was a completely blind walk in, and Daps landing more headshots in the B bomb side. He's looking for another one. He's way out in the open, up on the train. He's not afraid to find anybody here. It could be dangerous if he ends up going down, but they've cleared the way for the bomb plant, and Fuckley moving in. He does get taken out by Death. A big chance to win the round right then and there if he got the second kill, but still in contention. 3-on-3, and the bomb, it is down.
Low HP for most of the NRG remaining players here. Going to be working hard towards that lower ramp, but it's going to be Slemmy to find the little man. And this should be a CT round from what I can see. Very good work there from Slemmy. Up to Breezy now. 2 versus 1 situation. He does not have vision of the bomb, and another fantastic shot there from the in-game leader to find round number 15. What a turnaround it's been from Complexity. It's NRG. They've been on the brink of finding map point first for so long, but shut down at this point. The defuse will come in eventually. There it is. 15-14, and that's 5 rounds in a row. So not the end of the world for NRG just yet. They do get the bomb down. Maximum loss bonus, but still the double orb set up for Complexity, and it's looking pretty scary right now.
Man, I feel like this round was one where NRG, first of all, I love the fact that they walk into the bomb site with no signaling at all. You know, normally you get all the smokes and the flashbangs. This was just Daps leading the way and getting that first headshot. That's brilliant, but after that, it seems like as long as they can keep forcing the fights, they're winning it and they're doing well. But Complexity managed to, sort of take a deep breath just long enough that they get the rotation and they manage to contain the terrorist side. And then that's it. You know, they just choked them out afterwards. So.
That was really nice usage of the incendiaries as well. You see once they lost the inner sight, they dropped incendiary, incendiary, incendiary. 3 of them landing on the bomb train, denying the plant for so long. The T's already locked in at that stage as well. That's really cool just to buy them some more time, work out information, and stop the T's pushing down and getting the advantage at that stage. That was actually just a small note wanted to pick up on as well. But round number 30, here we go. NRG certainly on the back foot here. No AWP available. They have got 3 smokes, 3 Molotovs and flashbangs available to them. But once again, smoked out of position. Have to negate these orbs, and with a limited utility array, we'll see whether that works out for them. It's Desi and Surreal inside once again. The 3 players, especially Def, who's been playing lights out the last few rounds with that AWP towards Ivy, backed up by Slemmy, who's actually top of the scoreboard right now. He seems to be the best player for Complexity at the moment. The last 2 maps, he's been up there, finding very key clutches and top fragging on both maps.
I mean, this is a play for overtime here if you're on the NRG side. Android playing very close to the E-box, and he's going to get the headshot on one, but Fugley taken down right away. The spray coming through, and Slemmy drops. It's looking good. 3 more kills, and they're going to be in overtime. Surreal goes down. Def is another one, and now it's all on Desi, and they're not even going to go try and go for the bomb plant. They know he's there. They're going to take him out. That was a very decisive play, and honestly, I think Android's position is a really, really good one, and he gets that first kill in, but that just wasn't enough.
Nice basic play there from NRG to finish things off. A bit of a wall of smoke execution out there, just smoking off towards the connector, towards the Ivy position as well, the 5 track, and just making sure they can at least allow their star players to find those AK-47 headshots, which we've seen so much of. They actually lost 5 rounds in a row before taking it to overtime, so that's decent for them to recover, and we do go into the classic format. It's going to be MR3 and 10K, I believe.
Yes.
So double orb setup, that's a bit audacious for Complexity. Loses first round, you're so limited in terms of cash going forward, so it takes a brave team to call for this one, a confident team, and I guess it was working out for them. Def looking a bit more dynamic this time towards the upper ramp. We'll see if we can get the first pick. There is a player waiting for him. He hasn't been Molotov'd out as well, but there it is. That denies him going for the first pick, but not falling back just yet. He will be challenging, but that means that T has the advantage. He's there with his crosshair first.
Yeah, definitely not risk-free, especially because you don't know how many people are on the other side there, but he's not going to force it afterwards. You feel like it's like that was enough, just down to 67 HP. We'll see what happens here. NRG managing to keep the map alive after they almost got taken out 16-14 here. Now we're in overtime, and so far, not a big change of pace for either team. I would love to see a round where Daps leads the charge in the A-bomb side and tries to see if he can run out that first train, because he's been so good with the AK. I feel like it'd be interesting to see him just try and clear the way.
I think these simpler group pack formations is going to be much more beneficial for NRG. Instead of the fakes and trying to get these openings picked at the start, here we go, the executed smokes, stick together, allow your star players actually just get some one-on-one duels and see if they can step up there. Android, though, that's even better. Great work for the M4A1S, the real backing him up as well. That's going to be 3 clean frags for Complexity.
Not much to do after this if you're NRG. PTR and Fugly trying to see if they can sneak their way through and maybe turn it around, but that's just not going to happen. Def finding the perfect angle there, and I think actually Fugly was running to try and get the kill on somebody else, but I think it was Surreal he was chasing. PTR maybe hoping to save this AWP with 14 seconds. It doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Does not look like that's going to happen. PTR, it's overtime. You want to be saving these AWPs. It's not as devastating on the T side, but it still counts going forward. You know you can't win the round. You want to be saving weaponry. So you're not limited on the third if you do lose the second. But Complexity there. It's Android, once again, great individual skill towards a pop dog and battling 2 players. Flashbang coming in, quickly dodges it, sprays 2 of them down. Cyril's backing him up as well. It's a decent round from Complexity, and they take an early lead here on the CT side. Let's not get carried away, though. I'd still say, overall, it's one of the most CT-sided maps we have in the pool right now.
Yeah.
It's become more balanced these days, especially the top ends of the Counter-Strike scene. But I think in this matchup, especially, it'll be more of a CT-sided affair generally.
Well, PTR is ready in case anyone tries to peek that position. And looks like actually Def and Slemmy are going on a bit of an adventure down towards Ivy. There is someone waiting for them. Daps, I think it is, on the other side. So, ooh, wow, is that not a kill?
That looks a couple of pixels out, I guess. He had the pre-fire. It's a very common spot for the T-side team to wait in their defaults, and they will be lining up smokes once again. 2 of them from the dumpster position and T-spawn as well. They haven't deployed them just yet. It's holding up in the default, and 3 players towards inside, but it's Surreal this time, lower ramp. That shotgun-style AWP, baiting his teammate, Desi. He's at the upper ramp as well. He's getting information, but they've made it down lower. Is that the miscall that's going to cost them the round because they have no idea what's happening? I guess they'll hear the footsteps. They're taken down. The bomb will be planted.
That's a big kill. As long as Desi's alive up there, it's going to make the take really difficult. So
yeah, he didn't even have to really commit to that. Wait for the plant to come in, then just get that kill, guarantee it, and then round 1. But he didn't know they're coming down the lower round. I guess that was the problem.
Surreal hoping to find a target up here, but there's no reason why anyone would try and peek him at this point in time. Android moving in, and look at the kill on Breezy. That's a really big start now. 3 versus 4 here. NRG need this round on the T side. It's really important in the overtime that they get it. Lil Man has gone down. The defuse is already happening. Fugly drops as well, and Dapsy can't do anything here. It's Android picking up a 2nd kill of the round for himself, making it 17-15. Complexity 2 rounds away from taking the win here.
Absolutely.
It's looking really good right now.
Yeah, confidence is looking fantastic there. They're changing things up. It's quite dynamic, and it's Peter at the start of the round. Let's see what he got up to. I think it was the lower ramp player we're going to see. So this is Surreal, waiting for him to peek. So did he go for the flick shot? Normally you're focusing towards the lower, then you flick up, but timing, he was just bouncing between the 2. Managed to sit down Peter there. And then Desi could have done more with that, I feel, but he obviously had no information. He went down the lower round. They actually committed quite quickly to that, and he got caught out.
Look at this. This is exactly what I wanted. Daps aggressive in A. I just wanted to see him try and make his way in because he was so good on B at doing it. And look at that. He's all the way up the train. The spray comes in. Daps picking up 2 big kills and going for more. Now he's tapping away, but this is almost job done. Now they just have to try and take a deep breath and get that bomb down. And the afterplant here for Complexity, surely it's going to be nearly impossible to make this happen.
I would say so. He's a flashbang coming out from the pop dog area, but Breezy, he's waiting for Desi, takes him down. That should be the round guaranteed here. And that's what I'm saying. Stick together as a 5-man unit. You've got players like Daps hitting these AK shots. I don't know why you're not taking advantage of that. Def now in the 4 versus 1. Can't make it happen. At least they pick up 1 round here, which is pretty par for the course in this sort of format. 2-1 to the CT side. This is looking like it could be a double overtime situation.
So my model for that kind of play, and the reason that I brought it up earlier is, you know, in the early stages of this game, I think one of the first players that showed how powerful that kind of play could be, it was Olofmeister. You know,
Yeah,
and how hard he was to contain when he was allowed to run up that side. You know, and I still think it. I mean, I would say it's less effective because everyone had to learn how to play against Olofmeister. So you know, some of the early tactics actually I think revolved around shutting that kind of play down.
Yeah.
But now that it's less used, you know, you can bring it up every once in a while.
If you haven't dropped it at all in your T half and you're in overtime, why not give it a go? And Daps showing us what he can do. That was actually quite a nice play from him. But we'll see as we get into round number 4.
Oh, ugly. They're all right around the corner. He does see the bomb, but he's not going to want to try and keep it. But PTR is on the other side, luring them in as they try and chase Fugly. They forget about the AWP, and what a way to get started here if you're NRG.
Absolutely. 2 frags coming in thick and fast. Could be Peter and Fugly finding those frags. 1 minute 20 remaining. CT's now can just hold back. They've done the hard work, and now it's the complexity to try and recover the situation. Def Surreal and no longer Slemmy as Breezy finds him as well. That should be round concluded. And Def and Surreal, the British combo to try and save the day. I'm not sure they can do it, but stranger things have happened.
They are... Oh, okay. Well, Breezy's not going to be excited about that. There is a bit of a gap, and they're actually going to use it themselves this time. He does see a bit of a shadow there, but they are pretty much aware of where they are at the moment. They've made so much noise, and that works heavily against you if you're in this kind of a 2-on-4 here. They're just ready and waiting 40 seconds. And NRG, why would they peek? Why would they ever try and face this? They know that bomb has to go down, and there it is. Solid play.
Yeah, just have to have the crossfires there, denying the plant coming in, and NRG managed to tie things up. 17-17 now. It's currently 2-2. Going to round number 5, and like I said, double overtime, very likely. Complexity might be able to squeeze one round out, or NRG aiming for the 3-0. We'll see which way this one goes. I'd say it'd be so gutted for Complexity to go out now after getting that 5-round streak towards the end of force overtime, and then dropping out like this. It'd be so disappointing for them.
Well, that makes me want to ask a question, Hank. How does this work in terms of fatigue? You know, it's a best-of-3 game, and this is high-powered. You can tell the focus is 100% for all these players. There's no one underperforming right now. They're all on the scoreboard. They're all doing well.
Yeah, it's true.
So you play overtime, maybe even double overtime in a best-of-3. What happens if you go to a third map?
I think fatigue not so much an issue in a best-of-3 series. It'd be going forward after crashing out. Like you say, you had like 3 overtimes, and you go down to the lower bracket, and you've got to play a game, another best-of-3. That's when the fatigue starts to hit. You're still running on adrenaline at this point. You haven't had to dump absolutely everything. It's the first map, and I think these guys will be absolutely fine going forward. But for now, Complexity, 5 AKs, no orbs available to them. Actually quite limited on the utility as well. Looking for the first match points here. It'll be either side. That's going to be the AWPs towards Alta, and Peter finding that first shot. Combat AWPing here. Getting back up to his teammate, but Desi coming out the Ivy and finds a frag to the T side.
So he does. Daps and Breezy again, and now it's all on Def. 1 versus 3, and he does pick up a quick kill then. He's got the health, but PTR will find him. Good double kill for him, and seems like he's refound some of his confidence. I mean, he's actually doing really well. 23 kills, tied with Fugly and Lilman. They all have 23, and then Breezy still leading the charge with 29 there. And this is it. NRG win this round, and they very well could. They're going to be winning the first map.
Yeah, and with no bombs going down unders in these first 2 rounds of the second half means the money is pretty dire on the T side. Certainly no AWPs. One of them be able to get 5 AKs here. Yeah, there's the first UMP coming out. And in terms of the remaining players just to buy, they've got all under 4K. So they can just about get AKs, maybe no head armor or no utility. Need to pick your poison in that respect. NRG, though, 3 AWPs, Sanders.
So give it to me now. This round is going to resume in 14 seconds. It's Henry GSC in game leader. We're back in the CGS days.
Yeah, go on.
And this is it. You know, this is it. You know, you're going to make the call for Complexity. What's a winning strat? What's something they're not going to see coming?
You've got UMPs, you've got a Tech 9. I'm saying you do simple smokes down the lower ramp, flashing over, try and overwhelm that AWP, push down. I think that's pretty much the only play you really can hope for. You're not going to be able to overwhelm outside with the UMPs unless someone goes wild. And someone has to be Def. He's the only one with a rifle here. I think that's your only play. Wait for the initial aggression at the start. See if you can upgrade a CT weapon. And they've got 3 AWPs there. Use your smokes, go for a set piece as well. They obviously don't know 3 AWPs is there. They definitely know double AWPs is available. Maybe it's a set piece and try and get the bomb down. They haven't gone for that fast approach. It's looking grim, though. It's not like there's a correct answer here, and it's just like hope that someone makes a mistake on the CT side, and one of your players goes absolutely wild here.
Well, that could be it. Lil Man in Pop Dog. He's close. It's one of those positions you could get immediately flashed down. He's going to get the kill there, and Def picks up 2. I'm not even sure how. The second one got, and Desi will have gone down in the meantime, but PTR close in the smoke. The bomb is going down right next to him. He can't really stop it, so this has worked so far. All these smokes, and with 3 AWPs on the NRG side, they can't see a single thing. And the spray comes in. Slemmy looking for the shot, and he's going to get it on PTR. This could actually work out. Daps and Fugly are left here. How can they get in and get the defuse? I'm not sure. They have a smoke left, and that's maybe the only hope here for Daps to maybe make it work. But Surreal going to find Fugly, and they may have actually found a way out, Complexity, to push it into double overtime here. Daps, he puts down the smoke, and I'm not even sure if it fell down, but it doesn't matter. Def will take him out. They did it.
They did it. You've got to ask yourself, why are you picking up 3 orbs? It's overtime, sure. AWPs are great. They're really good.
They are.
But
they're expensive.
Double orbs are fine on train. Like, the fact you're bringing the triple orb there, you're so vulnerable to those sort of set pieces there. And Complexity, you know the money's going to be low. They might not even have 5 rifles there. And what's the go-to strategy when you don't have much money? You're dropping the smokes. You're doing the wall of smokes. You're pushing your tech lines through. Your UMPs. You're getting close range. And you could see how the orbs were really struggling there. They got 3 orbs in a retake. I think that was almost the misplay of the map so far. And we're going to have double overtime. I did say it was quite a high possibility. It comes in, and we go into another retake once again. Everything's back to 0-0. If you're not a Counter-Strike fan, it's maybe just tuning in for the first time. It says 18-8 at the top. It's essentially 0-0. Yes. And we'll see what happens as we go to another overtime here. Complexity versus NRG, and it's going to be the same side for NRG. Double orb with Daps and Peter. No triple orb this time.
Oh, Fugly, he's waiting for it. The timing is just so good. He actually peeks out just far enough that he can't get refragged either by Def, who is out there. So that's, you know, a question of intuition, because if you peek the narrow corner in that situation, you might get the 1 kill, but you're definitely going to get returned up on immediately. But because he peeked so far out, I think the pillar was blocking Def, and he just couldn't do anything. So that is a really good way to get started here. The smoke goes in. Still a minute here, so they can afford to wait if they want. But they don't.
They went for it. Ooh, kind of team damage coming in there. CT's looking like they have the advantage at this point. I have to say, NRG looking like the stronger side in the last few rounds. But to find the first few kills, that Surreal is fighting back. 3-on-2 now, still within a shadow of this round. 45 seconds remaining as well, but the bomb is down. Peter misses the key shot there. He had the chance to shut down the round. It's not going to be happening, and the bomb can't be picked up. Surreal gets dropped by Little Man, and Peter recovers, managed to get a lovely headshot there with the flick shot. And it's quite a clean round for NRG overall. We do say the CT side, you need to be very careful with the players you're dropping, especially when you're buying double orbs as well. They managed to save both of them. And Complexity burn out the water there. It's going to be round number 2, 1-0 in favor of NRG.
Let's see how this is going to be working out. I would favor an adventurous call at this point in time if I was on the
What,
teaser.
in your opinion, is an adventurous call?
That would be smoking the sort of the A side of Ivy, and then pushing 3 people down Ivy, and then have them
CT sports side?
Yeah, have them wrap back around.
That is a really cool strategy, actually. Not enough teams do that, in my opinion. Virtus Pro were experimenting with that idea for a long time. And it was really cool. Like, if you can get out and you have players waiting towards the inside as well, it's so confusing for the CT side to defend. It's just not a very common strategy. It's the same sort of idea of Dust 2 when you go through CT spawn through middle. It's that kind of similar vein.
Yeah, especially because it's unusual. You know, they have to have a name for that strat to be able to call it out easily, right? And if they don't, you know, maybe it just becomes some sort of jumble call on their side, and they say, "Oh, just people Ivy and Inner. I don't know what's happening," you know.
Sure.
So we'll see how this goes. 19-18. I think the first team to 22 rounds. If my math skills are really bad, but I think that's where we're headed.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. You need 4 rounds, right?
Yes.
So that works. Well, no frags coming in just yet. Give us enough time to discuss and theorize what could be the possibilities.
They actually have the setup for it, like more or less. They've got 3 people.
Are you believing?
I hope
so. If this
so.
actually happens, like, you're a god.
It could be happening. Android is going to get the kill. The smoke is on the other side. That suggests they're not going to go that way. Instead, want to maybe wrap around towards the A side. What a great double kill coming in from Little Man. That crushes that whole thing. He even sees the 3rd player or gets killed by Death. So a lot of information in this 3-on-3 right now for the NRG side. And Breezy just ready and waiting. They are actually going to go towards the inner side now, ready. But Fugly going to get the kill. Death goes down as well, and mid-air takes Slemmy right out of it. That's really good, but I still think it could have worked.
Yeah, you were still believing.
I was hoping.
The smoke on the left-hand side, like you said, suggests it wasn't going to happen. But still, you can still run through that smoke. If you find the initial kill, it's very unlikely the CT players wait on the other side. That's a pretty safe smoke to run through. So the fact you have players inside, you find the first couple of picks, I think that still would have been fine. And you would have had cover at least as you go through. But still, it's going to be complexity. A bit desperate toward the end. They didn't really have many nades to work with. And once again, it's the final round of an overtime here. Looking at the 3-0s NRG, we have AKs, a Galil, a couple of Tech 9s as well. Surely NRG do this, but complexity did it before. As Peter aggressive towards the Ivy position, flashed in. No one waiting on the other side. And another set piece, I think, towards inside from what I can tell in the setups on the minimap right now. Android, Desi, Surreal, and Def. They've got the smokes, a couple of those to work with. Flashbangs as well. It won't be the best execution, but Fugly now, he's changed his playstyle. He's gone for the AWP instead of that single rifle on the inside area, which he was struggling with.
PTR has seen that there's no one Ivy. He peeked all the way in towards T-spawn, so they are just making this full rotation. Android getting a kill. And look at how aggressive Complexity are pushing up. This is everything you want out of a B execute. Get in and stop them from actually rotating in towards C connector. This is just textbook stuff coming out of Complexity. I'm loving this.
Yeah, well, Peter's managed to leave himself an M4 and spawn, so he upgrades to that. But Little Man, he gets the first frag now for the CT side. The retake begins. They're looking for that 3-0. Surely they can't let this slip by once again.
Breezy, Spray takes down Surreal, so still 3-on-3, but that bomb is ticking and has been ticking for a while already, so they really need to get on this defuse. Breezy gets a kill on one. He's finally going to go down, but it's all on Slemmy, and I'm not sure he could really do anything. They're already defusing. He's not going to be there in time. Tries to make it around the corner, but that is it.
He wouldn't have got the kill there anyway. You can see he was about to shoot the player that wasn't defusing. So even if he got that kill, it was still defused. So 3-0 for NRG. In my opinion, that should be it. But you know what? It's going to be NRG on the T side. That didn't exactly look amazing for them. And we'll swap things over. Pressure firmly applies to Complexity now. And we'll see what they go for. The double orb setup, once again, it's been Def and Surreal. They go to double orb setup. It comes in once more. Yeah. And surely we'll see more of that fast play from NRG. That looks much better for them, right? I said those slow defaults and trying to find the pick. That's just true. The smokes on the side, rush together, allowed Daps to get the AK headshots. And that's how they got that final round on the first half of overtime.
I mean, that double orb setup did work pretty well for them. It's just so expensive that that they didn't get to run it that much in regulation. But we'll see if it's going to be different here. Def moving in, and actually with his back turned so that he doesn't get flashed. This is a pretty next level. Grenade comes out, and Def lands it, turning around as Slemmy, but does get taken down, and now it's a bit questionable here for Def.
Yeah, so he drops that smoke. Obviously, the T's going to be assuming he's retreating. He's trying to bait out some shots here, but the Molotov lands at his feet. Wants to play here from Def. Can't got out just yet, but the equal exchange towards outside is going to be Surreal now fighting back. Nice work from Def there. Took a gamble, manages to pick up the shot. Now it's a 2 versus 2. This map is dangling on a thread for Complexity, and one frag could separate it. There it is, up to now. Def with the AWP. They know exactly where he is. Bomb will be planted momentarily. A lot of pressure on the Brit's shoulders.
Oh, this is very intense. He's moving up. He's managed to change his position. Maybe just enough that they won't realize. He's sneaking in. He's close now.
We'll see that.
Oh, he can't quite do it. And he can't scope either now. They'll know exactly where he is. The element of surprise, the only thing that could really save him right now. And he's going to get the first flick there, taking down Daps as he realized that Lil Man is right there. He won't. And NRG going to pick up the first map here. 22-18 in double overtime. And that is it. What a way to get started here.
Absolutely. I mean, it wasn't the prettiest CS, but like you pointed out, everyone had their individual moments.
Yeah.
No one really dropped off significantly. We had great high-octane moments, as you said it was a possibility. I thought that was quite cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a very exciting first game. And I think more than anything, I think you could tell that they've come prepared for this one. Sure. I mean, there's a lot riding on this if you're one of these teams.
I have to say, I thought Complexity looked like the better team overall in terms of the tactics on the T side, especially. Yeah. After losing both pistols as well, they recovered on the T side and looked like they had a better overall formation on the T side. Like Slemmy seems like he's kind of drawn these guys into a proper team, but some massive rounds from the likes of Daps for the NRG side as well. Peter coming to life towards that overtime section as well, finding some great shots. And it was a great game of CS, I have to say. Double overtime, wasn't the prettiest towards the end, but still entertaining nonetheless.
It was. And hopefully we can also be entertained by the panelists. We do have a team of brilliant experts standing by. So, and also Frogman.
Frog. No, to you.
Why don't you take it away? Ribbit.
I'm just going to... Never mind.
It's the ribbit.
I mean, you are English, so I can understand why you're not a frog.
It's the ribbit at the end.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it either, but I'm okay with it. I'm really okay with it.
Maybe a toad.
I think that's worse. I don't know what's worse, frog or toad.
Well, which one turns into a prince when you kiss it?
Toad?
Frog.
I think
no, it's
it's
a toad.
toad.
It's a toad.
Yeah,
right?
it's toad.
Fine, I'll be a toad. I used to be a toad.
Did you?
I used to be a toad, but then I got kissed.
Yeah.
And I'm a prince.
I get
Congratulations.
it. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Must have been nice.
Neither of these teams
The host
really
formerly known as Prince. Carry on.
Formerly known as Frog. Actually, currently known as Frog. Both these teams, neither of them really want to go out there clinging on for dear life. Obviously, best of 3. We'll have a look at which maps are coming up in a moment. But let's first, while the highlights run, have a little chat about this map train. What did you guys think?
Yeah, first things first. Let's just say I thought Slemmy had another very good game. So this is 2 maps today where he's been pretty impactful. So just maybe not an apology, but a little bit of a shout out. Looking much better than he has in the past over this past year since he's been in Cloud9. Been pretty impressed by that overall. Other than that, I thought both CT sides kind of were pretty op heavy, relying on the AWPs. You could see it kind of at the end. The comeback from the T side kind of begins when the money's gone. You know, where it felt like Complexity had the edge, and they had to make a big comeback. Or why did they go around? I'm trying to think. It's late.
Well, it's early.
Early.
It's a time of day.
No, I mean, it's just, there were so many different op battles, so many different players picking up the AWP. And even in the end of the first overtime, I was very confused. It was NRG who had 2 AWPs at the end of their CT side, and then, for the last round of overtime, picked up a 3rd op.
Yeah, kind of bizarre.
Very curious.
I have to say I was impressed at the very start. One of the things I noticed early on was Peter was being aggressive based on spawns. So he was pushing Ivy with the AWP. He was getting to the corner of the inside of B. Obviously, you could throw away a lot of the early rounds and look toward the end game when things really started to get dynamic and teams had to adapt to get into overtime. But it paints part of it, and he was very good at getting map control and information early on for NRG. Just a note.
And here's Android now. Android had a few impressive moments, didn't he?
Yeah, I think his aim is actually really solid. Apart from just his game sense and being able to push through in certain situations, I don't think it's actually sound, his game sense. I think there's sometimes when he gets a little bit over-aggressive, but his aim's very good. I like his aim.
Yeah, I think the tough part for me is this map, I would have figured Complexity, this is like the map they would have loved to play, because I know Desi as an individual player, that inner bomb site, he's always kind of like made that his kind of spot that he wants to play on this map, whether it's pushing up towards the top, whether it's kind of like playing deeper into the bomb site. But I like the adjustment Fugly made just to bring back to the AWPs. He kind of transitioned to a little bit more of a passive hold with that AWP falling all the way back, like not really risking allowing teams to come over to really help with the retake instead of trying to hold it till his death. That allows a lot of variety towards that outer bomb site as well.
And what are Complexity going to be sort of saying to each other now as they go off, they reel from this first map loss? What are they just going to be what's Slemmy going to be saying?
It's difficult. I mean, like we said in this, no one, we talked about who's going to bounce back. Like we said, it wasn't very clear which team was going to show up. You could argue that there was equal amount of mistakes as there was successes in a close game such as this on the bottom side of the bracket. I don't think Complexity is going to be thrilled or extremely thrilled with the fact that they lost in overtime. No one is. Obviously, that can be gutting, but you have to rebound from it.
Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But it wasn't like it was a huge comeback either that they fell short on. It was fairly even and back and forth throughout the course of the game. And if there's anything to take away from that, it's, you know, they were in it with a shout, which means moving on. Now, we didn't see the veto. I'm going to reserve judgment until we see that, because I don't even actually know yet until at this point where we're going.
Yeah, we're going to see the veto in a moment. I think we're going to do the MVP first. I'm not sure if those stats are ready yet. If they are, they'll come up. But while we wait for those stats, yeah, they're ready. Here we go. Cool. So the Mummy MVP is Breezy for Train.
Yeah, and I mean, this is good news for NRG, just because, I mean, he's the one that we talk about. He's the one that this is kind of like the excitement about this team moving forward is all kind of structured around him. They want him to become the star, invested in the buyouts, get him onto this team. Opening kills is obviously huge. And then that's retake and post-plant kills. That's actually a pretty cool stat. So
I was going to say there's retake, post-plant, and trade kills is quite good. Opening's obviously good as well.
I imagine oppers are just going to blow the opening kills out the water eventually.
Exactly, and I think trade kills are actually, especially CT side, well, both sides to be fair, but CT side especially are massive. So
well, the crazy thing is like we can say opening kills 5 of those, or like, you know, post-planter kills is like 4. That's all well and good, but like we won't know what's kind of the good metric until we see it.
We were actually talking about this. Yeah, drawn out over time to see what we. Yeah, we were actually talking about this with Chad and talking about the entry kill term and whether first kill is more applicable. We were literally just having this conversation.
Yeah, well, entry is always more of subjective, right? Just depending on who you're talking to. I know, you know, you and I probably have different definitions of an entry kill, and different if you apply it to various situations. So, you know, first kill or opening kill is probably the better phrasing for it.
Yeah, so easier
to explain.
Well, by way of example, an entry kill, Chad's point of view is that it's any real first kill in some senses, because you're still entering into a part of the map which you need control of to execute. Mm-hmm. So you're still getting that kill to allow you to enter into that section. Whereas for me, it's an entry kill is more on the site itself. obviously, yeah, I get his point, his logic, but it's not as clearly explained by the term when you say that. So I like that as first kill, whereas entry is when you're going into the bomb site. Because you could still be in a 4v4 with rotations coming in and have a fairly even situation on a bomb site, even with trades early on.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts.
Okay, I know you guys are eager, as we all are, to figure out and find out which maps will be coming next. So on the screen right now, we see the veto that we missed at the beginning. And
so that was Complexity's map.
Yeah, that's what I
thought.
didn't know.
Yeah, that was Complexity's map, and then now we've got Inferno coming up next, which is NRG's. So maybe a little bit more impressive for NRG that they actually beat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Complexity
think any, like, even if it's Complexity's map, they're obviously not going to be any kind of like world beaters. Even within the region, they're not known for like being some kind of dominant team on that map. So it's just something that's like it's their comfort pick, right? Is that train?
Will the same apply to Inferno then? Will it be as even?
I don't know. Did we see the Inferno played in Dallas from NRG? Because we didn't see a lot of them. They were on the B stream for, I think, just about all their games.
I personally did not.
Yeah, because I didn't catch it because we would have been casting during a lot of it.
It's going to be a similar situation where it's a map that they'll be decent on in terms of their own relative standings within the region, but they're not like, you would never point at NRG and say this is the best Inferno team we have in North America, anything along those lines. So I think it's just a map. I think it just kind of shows I have NRG above Complexity in terms of like their standing and in terms of what they should be capable of. So I think this map, just that they pick it as just, I think it's going to be an NRG win.
Just to clarify as well, I said that they were 0-13, now 0-14. We looked it up because I was going off what Peter said. Obviously, he was stretching that truth a bit.
The safety net.
Exaggerating.
I'm just saying, to be precise, they're now 1-8 in their last 9. Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Cool.
He was embellishing. It was an embellishment by the author.
Yeah.
Which in this case was Peter. I don't know if you can write or not, but. There you go.
Yeah. Either way, does it really matter if it's like 0-8 or 0-13? It's just kind of not.
Does 87
good, right?
and 0 matter? I almost called you Henry. Jason.
He's gonna be mad. I hear him in
that's
there.
fine. That's you know
jealous.
what? It's fine. He's with Anders now. Yeah. They're
Henry
running away
jealous.
together to London in 2 weeks' time. You know, having a little.
Like a holiday together?
Yeah.
Going
Well,
off?
yeah, they're gonna do some work. They're gonna
little
get
bit
stream
well
together.
then.
Yeah. 87 and 0 matters. So 1-8 matters.
Okay.
The only reason 87 and 0 matters is because if you're a NIP fan, that's all you've got left.
Yeah, it's the 2013.
Okay, I believe we've got an interview.
Oh, that's cool.
I
Spicy.
believe, with Def from Complexity.